All right, guys. Goodyear 400 NASCAR Cup Series Darlington live race reactions. This is the third live race reaction stream of the season. So, yeah. Let me go ahead and just pull up the leaderboard. It is throwback weekend, so I'll be seeing a bunch of different throwback schemes out on track today. Alrighty.
So, let's go trackside.
Yeah, they're about to give the command right now.
Darlington Raceway. Let's give a big NASCAR welcome to this historic.
I have the HBO Max. Where is it? I have the driver on board. Denny Hamlin's onboard view on my big TV, so I'm watching the race from my phone as well. There it is.
It's been called the Lady in Black.
Watch your picture of the fire. You test the call with the prefer not to fire more than that.
It's the sign of the
Do what you gotta do on the front bill.
Okay, go ahead and share screen. There. Okay, y'all should see the top 3 drivers up on the screen.
Let's explain how we got here. Crocs did an experiment measuring people's brainwaves and found that petting puppies feels pretty good.
Oh my goodness.
Not surprising, but you know it feels even better petting a toilet. Really? For him it did. That is great. And for these participants, it felt better than getting a massage, playing video games, and getting their nails done. I think what makes you feel good.
Can we stay just a little bit longer? Hurry, we'll be back. I can't believe they're leaving. Like, who would ever want to leave this paradise? Do I miss my rock? Of course I do. But do I regret my decision to stay in paradise? Thank you, Jar. Absolutely.
A paradise you want to lose yourself in. Book your escape to Celebration King, Carnival's exclusive paradise.
Did you know that one large tree makes a supply of oxygen for 4 people? Trees make us happy. Did you know trees are disappearing because of storms?
I gotta say, Denny Hamlin's throwback paint scheme to Carl Edwards looks really good. I liked Austin Cindric's throwback when he was throwing it back to Dale Earnhardt when he was still in the number 2.
This is what great pain looks like when you keep moving with the leaf.
Oh, and especially Kyle Larson's too. Definitely. What's up, Thomas Engine Animate?
Darlington, South Carolina. No reason to know this beautiful racetrack after a trip to Indianapolis. He wanted something like it in the South. And opened in 1950, and here it is. 18 different drivers finished in the top 10 in last year's 2 races here. Who's going to handle the only ones to double? You don't want to lead the most laps here. You won't be in front of the finish.
Yeah, last year's Darlington Spring Race was really fun.
Streaks here in Darlington, including Keselowski and Briscoe last year, so root for the underdog. Well, I don't know where.
Ryan Preece is starting in second. That's really good.
Reynolds to dial up our call center today. Yeah, let's dial up William Bauer. William, the guys in the Fox booth. Got me? Willie B. Larry back in the Fox booth. Got a copy? Yeah, Larry.
Oh, and I also like Byron's throwback too. I might make a video this week ranking Darlington throwback paint schemes. I might. We'll have to wait and see. That's just a video idea that I just came up with.
Before the two,
Yeah, for sure. It's hot, and I feel like the racetrack's gonna be changing constantly, so just gotta keep up with that. That's always a lot of fun. It's a big challenge, so I look forward to it.
Man, you won here 2 years
I
ago.
guess even though it does still feel pretty good on.
What about the discipline to run around the track?
Yeah, I think it's like, how about pit road procedural situations, that would be.
Yeah,
As far as like,
yeah,
not running over the spot.
honestly, the whole doesn't really track straight, so you're always looking for little imperfections where you can make
I'll know if
difference.
I can think
I
so.
feel like that's what makes it a lot of fun because you can move around and find some of the cutouts of the track that are different.
Good luck, buddy. I know Greg's at home watching. He's ready for another dollar to win.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you, man.
William Byron starts on the pole. Here's our Goodyear 400 starting grid. It's his second Darlington pole in his first 16.
They haven't rolled off the pit road yet.
Reese is on a roll. 3 straight top 10 finishes, and he has the outside pole for the fourth time in his career. Row number 2, Denny Hamlin, 4-time Darlington winner, and he won last week. Chase Briscoe.
Looking to go back to back.
Southern 500 winner here.
Hopefully that happens.
For reference, long boxes, you're basically.
All right, now we're moving. Now we're moving.
Last week at Martinsville.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin absolutely dominated last week, leading over half the laps.
But not in the last decade. Well, Denny delivered. Leading a lot of laps. And ending up in victory lane.
Bad opening this time.
Bring it space.
Last week represented Denny Hamlin's 55th Cup Series victory, tying him on the all-time list at 11 with Briscoe Wallace, but it also represented the 7th crew chief that Denny has won with in the Cup Series. Chris Gale, of course, getting his first win with Denny Hamlin last week. When I spoke to Chris earlier today, he told me, yes, it was a lot of relief off of their shoulders to get that victory together, but that is also the expectation, and as we look forward to today, this is the track that Denny has his second best average finish of all tracks on the Cup Series with 8.2 is his average finish in 25 races, so don't expect anything less of that 11 team.
All right, I gotta make some changes too. All right, here we go. Alrighty.
And earlier today, he won Best Throwback Paint Scheme for this race. And of course, we talked a lot about a brand new pit crew moving forward. Well, he hopes those storylines continue for his on-track effort. In talking to him about the heat of this track today, he said it plays right into his hands. He says the crazier, the more challenging it is inside the race car, the better it is for him. Kyle Larson hoping to get his second win at Darlington. Mike.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, Jake, what do you got for us today?
Well, Mike, Darlington is one of the toughest racetracks we go to get that handling right, to find the balance between it.
Staying on track this time.
Yeah, William Byron did win the pole yesterday.
But you don't want the rear hung out, abuse those rear tires. So let's go to our Toyota Camry cutaway car, and let's look at a handle tube under the rear of the car. The Gen 7 car has independent rear suspension. Look at that end-row bar, rear sway bar, and it does exactly what it says. It travels, resists the roll of the race bar. Now, how it hooks to the suspension on the left rear and the right rear are those drop links right there with the hind joint. Now, how you adjust the stiffness of the sway bar is through those ring blades right there. When you turn it straight up and down, that's the stiffest setting. When you lay it on its side flat right there, that's the softest setting. You can adjust it on the left rear or the right rear. There's also 3 different settings in between stiff and soft. Now, again, this tool is used to control the resistance of the roll in the rear of the car. I walked through the garage here, about half the cars running the rear sway bar. The real improvement in running that is helping the car in traffic, but you have to be careful. You have to keep that car tight because it's going to be turning so good.
Thanks, Larry. 85 degrees is the temperature here. Winds out of the southwest and a lot of big puffy clouds, but no rain in the forecast. The asphalt right now at 122 degrees, and I'll bet it feels just that in those grandstands. So it's hot today, Regan.
Well, Mike, it is hot today, and if you can imagine how hot it's going to be inside of these race cars, I want you to take a look at it.
That's the cool suits.
The drivers will be using. This is the cool shirt many of these race car drivers use right now. You see these veins, and if the water actually flows through this, they plug this in when they get into the race car into a device that looks like a radiator. It then cycles the water through, keeping them cool, not only on the front, but as well on the back of their chest. This goes underneath their driver's uniform. This is one of the best things that these guys can have on a hot day like this, but we have seen these things go bad last week. As a matter of fact, 3 of them went bad for different reasons. When that happens, this turns into sparkling water inside the suit, and that becomes a major problem for the driver. So keep an eye on that today. While this is very good, if something happens and it doesn't work, it could be a problem as well.
One red, all green, now all green.
Here's Tyler Reddick wearing one of those suits as he and Riley Herbst walk toward their cars. Here's today's race analysis.
Long boxes, your 1008 here.
400 miles is today's distance. That's 293 laps, 90, 95, and 108.
In red.
Lengths 45 miles an hour on pit road. Here's what some of the drivers expect today.
Yeah, so probably my favorite track in the first bit is Darlington. Love that place. It's one of the toughest tracks I've ever done. I can't imagine 2 corners ever being so difficult.
I would say that one of the toughest tracks is Darlington because it's changed so much. Darlington has to be one of the tougher racetracks.
Yeah, I'd say Darlington. That's been a place I feel like, the past year and a half, 2 years, no matter how good or bad the car might be driving in practice, I know that we're going to be fast in the race.
While Larry has today's Keystone Light race strategy.
Well, Mike, it's so easy. 4 tires every stop, every chance you get. Split all 3 stages in half, maybe that final stage at 108 laps, possibly in the thirds, and it's about give and take, race to racetrack. This old racetrack is your toughest competitor today.
Thanks, Larry. Kevin, how much power did that Boss 429 have? That was a real Wood Brothers race engine in both those cars.
Well, we need to take that motor out and put it right in one of these things. That's how much power it had. Those things were awesome to drive. And I just can't believe that they ran as fast as they did in those cars after sitting in there. It's not like anything I've ever driven.
They were nuts, Mike. He was hitting brakes, no brakes. I'm like, hey, buddy, they're throwing brakes on that baby. All horsepower, no stopping with them things. I can't believe he got that opportunity. Felt so good, and he cannot tell you just how much horsepower those have. It's crazy. It blew my mind.
I'm jealous. That looked like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and thank you to the Wood Brothers for letting us drive those 2 historic cars. But that's what this weekend is all about, to be able to show the history and the heritage of this sport. To have those cars and people at the racetrack with the Wood Brothers family, that goes to almost every team in the garage. So a lot of history in this sport.
Now, most days you can see both of those cars in the Wood Brothers Museum in Stewart, Virginia. Yeah. So how about today? Well, that's the hardest part, kid. We got to go back. I'm on such a high from being in those cars. The racetrack.
Looks like we're going green next time, my boys.
Workload through the roof today, up by the wall. Everybody out here, Kevin, so tight after practice yesterday.
Yeah, and you have to be patient as a driver. This racetrack, you have to race the racetrack, and I know that you'll hear us say that a lot today. So easy to make a mistake. When that sun goes in and out, you're going to have some handling characteristics that are different. So it's going to be a full workload, like you say, for drivers.
And it starts right here off of turn 2.
Here we go.
Turn 2, especially on restart. Boys, we're coming to green. Mustang Dark Horse pace car that clicked roll Friday has headed for pit road. Nice crowd on hand.
That's Carl Edwards. I knew it. I knew he was up,
In
man.
the Carolinas, and here they come. William Byron, Ron Reese, Chevy and Ford.
Green, green, green. Let's go.
Waves the year
off the green outside. Just a 19 hole. Quarter to the top. Outside 2. Outside 2. Outside. Outside. One back 23. Half back 23.
Always one of the hardest parts of the race right there. Coming off of turn 2, trying to get single file 2 wide. You're going to see these guys run the bottom of the racetrack all the way below that line, but you're going to pay the price if you run down there too long, Clint. You have to be able to take care of the tires, or this car will burn that right rear tire off.
Take care of the tires. When does that start, Kevin?
Now, it starts right now, but you can't give up any track position at the beginning of these restarts. You have to protect yourself and put yourself in a position to maintain or minimize the loss of track position as much as you can.
Inside.
Ryan Blaney dives low in the corner. Trying to pick up not 1, but 2 spots. It does. Yeah, and you're cool about that turn 3 and 4. I mean, realistically, you're about off the racetrack right there. Those hash marks kind of just a suggestion at this place. You can get low, but you better not do it long. Scrap a lot of tire, Kevin.
Yeah, and you see it right there, fall off. So
Also,
there's a patch of asphalt that's kind of blended in to be gray like the rest of the racetrack, but a lot of grip off of turn 2, but still very difficult to run too wide. As you see Blaney shoot down below those hatch marks, and as those hatch marks get rubbered up, those things get more grip, and I used to love to use those things and hook that right side tire on those hatch marks.
Track workers were late into the night repainting the walls red and white here at Darlington. They paint them again Monday. We'll have the stripe count for you as we go through the day.
Caution. Oh, Kyle Larson in the wall.
Backstretch off of 2.
At the
Kevin,
bottom,
you
to the
just
bottom,
told
the
us about
inside
how
wall,
narrow it
trapping
is
down
over there.
low.
There's another problem.
Here's
There's
with
a
the
bump.
right.
Yeah, and the way that these cars run, a lot of
What
times they
happened?
bottom out and it'll just jump the back of the car out from underneath it.
Boy, that car's hurt.
Traffic tight. Service. Roll it if you can, if you can. That's all me.
Yeah, he can't move.
Not quite right.
Larson was running.
Oh, just got loose.
Car got out from under him.
Everybody else get here.
And in the wall he goes.
Get rolled back out.
This is wild. I can't believe this.
Let's take it from it.
First initial thoughts was a little tight up the hill and a little tight the first half of 3 and 4. Okay, copy.
think we're going to have to pit here, Kenny. We're going to pit. We'll be the last guy without pitting. Yeah, copy. Whatever. Yep, copy.
Yeah, well, yeah, it looks like we're going to be coming down to pit road here from going to the.
Bias for the box here. 2 rears. Bias for the box. Second, 10. Now. Red here. 2 red, 1 red. 1 red now. All green now. All green. All green. And away. Now 5, 3, 2, 1. Wheel straight from the right.
I looked a little slow on the right, I think. Yeah.
All the way out. Side, all green, second, middle, in red there.
Clean.
Yeah, that's what I figured. We lost 4 spots on pit road.
Dragging here, tail of the wheels, right here. Reset bias here. Reset bias in your turn, 20.
Just to follow up on what Kevin just said about being on the offense, that's exactly what Chris Gale and Denny Hamlin's team were thinking right there. They figured they were going to put the last cars in line that stayed out on those 3 lap turns. We were worried about that, so the option was to put the driver on the offense instead.
All right, we'll have to go hard to kill it inside.
What happened to Kyle Larson at turn 2?
You're going to see Kyle Larson right back here. He's going to get those left side tires below those hash marks, and that's in that section.
Yeah, he just got on the bumps and just spun out.
The way that they repaved that section, it doesn't really flow like the banking does. It's much harder to cross. So get those left side tires on the apron right there. Get that banking right back. Yeah. And it's already pretty edgy when you're side by side like that and have to pitch that car down and touch the apron at the same time. Just spun out.
Here's what happened on Ryan Blaney's stop. You can see he stops deep in the box, almost right up to the white line.
5, 6,
Side's done. They come around to the left, and you see the pit waiting for Van Gisbergen. Comes in, and he's stopped at the outside part of his box. So Blaney has to back up.
23 is your first one. 23, 45, everything from the 1,
Yeah, these cars are
42
super hard to turn when they're going
3
slow.
laps
It feels like
Yep, Kyle Larson's done.
3 times. So Kyle Larson to the garage.
Where they can repair that car and come back into the race.
Yeah, he can come back in the race. It's just his chance for the win is over.
You got the 20 and the 7.
Turn 2 is
7 out back.
definitely one of the turns that is the trickiest here, especially door to door. Run out of real estate, there's an apron, and even the bump now. That bump is massive. They're going to unload the car as you got wheel in it, spins people out.
And before they repave that section of the corner, you can use the apron to kind of cheat down the racetrack. And I think that's what Kyle was trying to do, was cheat down the racetrack a little bit to give himself room to Logano. But now that transition of the inside lane and the outside lane are sharper, it makes it much tougher.
So the first of the drivers that did pit is Bubba Wallace, who is 17. Byron Priest, Rick Briscoe,
Now 5. Ready, green.
Green flag back out.
Good, yeah, in front of you for the first 3. 22. Still in there, 22 back in that middle. So just one side.
That's
They're all
all
rolling.
tires. New tires are coming. I see a lot of cars tied almost into the fence there, 2 or 3 deep with rows.
Go down there.
It's one thing when you go back on a refire, coming on all tires.
Yeah, there's top of 3, top of 3.
It's game up.
And these guys up in the front of the pack, they want to run as far away as they can, get singled out as much as they can, because they know that those new tires are going to get to the point of catching them in some way, shape, or form. But track position is still going to be very, very, it's going to be key, I guess, is the best way to put it. There's going to be a point where the tires take over from that track position. We'll have to see if the 4 or 5 laps that they ran, if that's going to take place.
Todd Gillen and Michael McDowell, teammates last year. So this year,
One inside,
look at this. You see Denny Hamlin on the outside coming 3 wide. That's what he has. That's tires coming on the old tires. Everybody in the way. Put different agendas on the side to create makes it more nasty.
First 16 cars on the restart had cars with tires. Busher has made his way up to 8th, Wallace up to 11th. Gibbs, Reddick, Nemechek all in the back of the top 20 fans here.
That really showed you the difference in tires with Nemechek on the outside and Reddick blowing his doors off on those new tires.
And that's the hard part. When you have a mixed tire strategy like that, then he got stuck behind that car. And also, Reddick was able to drive right by on the bottom.
Still there. Out there full. Door. Hanging. Still there. Still there.
This is a racetrack. They always told me the old analogy racing racetrack. It's never been more true than right here at
Bubba
Darlington.
Wallace slingshots past Chastain there.
Wallace past Chastain here.
Still up there. Still
That's
there.
10th
Still there.
place.
Still there. Still there. Clear, 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 clear,
Yeah,
clear.
he's the first one on those new tires. He's made his way through traffic really well. Such a difficult racetrack at the beginning of these races, Clint, because you know the adjustments that you made on your car for practice. You're trying to fill your car out. You're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to make progress forward. You're trying to decide where to run on the racetrack. So many decisions to make. But as we saw with Kyle Larson, the line that you cross here is much thinner than everywhere else that we go because of the room on the racetrack and the grip in the tires.
Larry, when will these drivers that got new tires at lap 6, when will this equal out with the drivers that did not stop?
Well, I think in about probably 8 to 10 laps, Mike. Right now, you look at William Byron in that 24 car. There's just Clinton might know it, Kevin know this. No substitute for clean air because he's got about 2/10 on the field right now.
Well, going to that point, Larry, add another layer. You know, everybody practiced yesterday clean air. You want a good balance on your race car, trying to get an indication to work your crew chief over the night on where to go with the balance for this race. Nobody counted on that early caution to throw this race for a frenzy and beat in traffic and everything else.
And these guys up front, too, the advantage that they will have if this turns into having a bunch of cautions, they'll have one more set of tires sitting in the pits. And you never know.
Yeah, Byron is just terrific driving.
From the Bull has your Xfinity fastest lap, 167.2 miles per hour. All those cars running up in the top 5 in the opening laps.
William Byron doing William Byron things, just quietly taking care of business. I knew he was going to be dangerous when he sat on that pole. It was a huge lap yesterday, Kevin. We were watching that. He hung 2.5 tenths on them when he went out, and it was still, 10, 12 cars to go or so, and nobody could knock him off the pole.
In the last several years, we've seen a lot of cars dominate this race, but when you look at the finishes and things that go with those most laps led, it makes it really difficult because most of those guys didn't win the race for the last several years. So there's always a moment in this race where you have to pit, not pit, when the strategy comes into play that seems to flip this race around.
Mike, I want to add another layer to your question about when does the tires even out. I think it's a little bit deceiving right now because those that change tires are stuck back in the field. We talked about being in dirty air. Kevin Clinton and I this morning had a conversation about that rear sway bar. That's where the rear sway bar helps you is in traffic. So back in traffic, it's hard to get a read when the tires actually even out.
And there's a lot of people that will decide rear sway bar, no rear sway bar. I always liked the rear sway bar because it just had this automatic rotation. And when you get these cars all on the racetrack together, they naturally just get tighter. And having that bar always made it so that it had that rotation no matter what you did. Even if it wasn't enough, you still had something.
We see Carson Wilson on tagging the wall just a bit.
So Logano advances. Now here's Bubba Wallace, who is the best of the cars on new tires in the running order, challenging Busher for 8th.
Mike, remember Busher came and got 4 or 5 fresh tires as well in that 17 car.
Yeah, I misspoke on that.
We may be corrected there. There's statistics here. I'm sorry, Larry.
Yeah, I'm not so sure we didn't get bad data on that.
Okay. Noah Griggs at 23rd. Another of the cars that did not stop. Here's some audio from the Ford.
There is no internet on pit road, so we got to
So Regan, is this all the pit road or is it sporadic?
Like just a report, I checked the 11 team and Danny Hamlin, and it appears that their internet is working right now. So not sure if it's sporadic or what's going on, but evidently some teams having trouble down here.
Kevin, we were in the clear though. Our rides out there, we were going to be good without Wi-Fi. Yeah, we didn't need to give our data to anybody. It probably wasn't very good anyway, but that is a major disadvantage if you don't have that SMT to look at, to be able to tell your driver what's making other cars go good and yours not. And that hinders your first adjustment, pace, all those things that you can see. No tools in a toolbox. That's right.
And Austin Cindric's team is talking about this as well.
Roughly 40 lap run, so realize that was sort of normal.
All right. So let's dissect that a little bit. What does that mean to these teams? You're not getting the data, okay? Well, they're not getting what the driver's doing, so now they don't know how much fuel that he's burning, right? We know that that's probably not going to play a role in a tire race like this racetrack is, but saving your tires. I mean, the list goes on and on. Driving style, how William Byron is out front in clean air. You heard him talk about SMT. That's water on road. He's watching all those guys' inputs, and the teams are too. You know, by his
Oh, Carson Hocevar with trouble.
Right rear's flat.
Right rear's flat. Let's see if that was
Caution.
And that brings out the caution for the second time today at lap 24.
Flat.
Yeah. More than likely, that was probably caused. Let's see how hard he hit.
Overall, just trying to take mark.
Oh, he tagged the wall. Just off of turn 2.
Yeah, so that was a second time that he hit the wall right there. So that one was much harder than the one off the turn 4. So that probably flattened that tire, Mike.
Most of our pit road, we're under caution again. All right.
back, got some water. Just on pit road now.
Round 2, 1 to 11 an hour. You're 10 away.
There's
Now you're 5.
Reese running second right now. His lap just a little bit of grip. He needs side wheel as well. The right rear tire sliding more than he wants. He goes to the corner. And the 24-year leader, William Byron, has said the balance is good. Gets a little bit too free in 3 and 4. Is that wrong, though?
All out. Henry is there.
Cedric and Briscoe. Carson Osavar stayed out on the track. He's out there behind the pace car named J.J. Hewlett. 2 caution flags early.
There's Michael Jordan.
This will be really close to running all the way into the stage and a longer stage, probably 1 lap. We are correct on track there. Good stop, guys. Just confirm when you get your brake bias set, please. Confirm. Thank you.
Yankees against the Giants at 3 p.m. Eastern on MSK. Here's our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Since 1925, the Goodyear blend has been inspiring fans to keep looking
When you go to
and
Houston,
keep driving forward. And even the Goodyear blend is a graphic scheme this year. Ryan Preece is on a roll. 3 straight top 10s. He qualified on the outside of the front row. And we were given the privilege of sitting in on their pre-race team meeting.
One thing I want to talk about today is team, right? This team has come together better than I could have ever hoped, right? That's all because of you guys, right? Every part of us has a different job, but somehow we're all working together, going the same direction. You guys are a fine line, you get better every stop, man. So that's the attitude we got to keep. We got to all keep pushing in that same direction.
I'm pretty loud.
Really, let's bring it, guys. On to the 3
1, 2, 3, 4,
So Larry, the team's
5.
Pushing Byron.
lap number 6. And already run through 2 sets of tires.
I'm getting a little nervous about this because they had 10 sets of stickers plus the qualifiers to run this race. And one of those sets of stickers is what they started the race on. So you think about those teams that's pitted twice, they are now down to 7 sets of stickers. So they need some long green flag runs because you can't get greedy and use them all up now.
But pretty much, yeah, that's what, around 38 laps.
Well, that's tough. When the caution comes out and there's any laps on the tires, you want to hope that your strategy is on par for that long run that's going to happen. The last thing that those guys that came in and pitted the first time wanted to see was another quick caution. So definitely burned a setup that they didn't get their money's worth out of.
So Michael McDowell came in 7th. He's now 13th. Chase Elliott came in 10th. He is now 23rd after pit stops.
Well, we've seen it all year. So much
61.
is affected the outcome of the race on pit road. So
All right, pace
so
car's
far
off.
today, it's been the same way.
Well, William Byron, I think, has led all the laps so far.
Getting ready to restart.
Kinda
William
wet.
Byron has led every one of
Ready.
28
Ready.
laps so far.
Exactly. Green.
There they go.
Everybody's rolling. We can push by half in front, half in behind. Still half in behind. Go
See a
to
great launch there by William Byron. Ryan Preece already on the side. Kyle Busch.
One in front.
Outside lane definitely launched pretty good there, Clint.
A little bobbled up there. Oh, we got one car slow in the back there. I'm not sure who that is.
Like J.J. Yaley, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He made a pit stop for 4 tires in that 1987 Bill Elliott tribute scheme. And he's going to come slowly toward the pits.
That's
Stay
J.J.
green.
Yep.
Yeah, you talk about the restart, how everybody pushes the limit off of turn 2 right there, Clint. As hard as it is to pass at this particular racetrack, you have to be able to put yourself in a spot to gain positions. And when you have the opportunity to put somebody 3 wide, you got to go with it. You got to go with the run and try to gain that advantage in track position.
Wallace trying to move forward from 7th spot now. Again, battling Chris Buescher on the outside.
Briscoe around Bush, down the front stretch.
Briscoe to 3rd.
Yeah, Chase went for him last year in the fall race. Great. Put him in
Oh, Kyle Busch a little loose. Here comes Chris Buescher.
Car was right on the rear bumper of Kyle Busch and got him loose.
Look how much it slowed him down. Here comes Buescher passing around.
Imagine if Chris Buescher wins this year after what happened last year. That would be great.
Going back to that Chase Briscoe story.
It would be amazing for him.
Only car to finish in the top 5 here. And obviously, this is a racetrack that he enjoys and is very good at with getting the victory lane here in the second race here in the Southern 500 here last year.
Okay, Danny's in the
team that
11th.
is notoriously really good on these low grip racetracks. With Joe Gibbs, we've seen Martin Truex run so good in this car, and especially at this racetrack.
He said yesterday, if you were watching practice on Prime, he should be in the fantasy league for today. Now here's Kyle Busch, and old friendly Cheddar's on board cam on his number 8.
Yeah, he had to lift just a little bit coming down the hill right there. It's probably going to just have to make a correction. And the 2 car was right on his rear bumper, so it just magnified that looseness as he came down the hill off of turn 2.
Hit that bump. Car unloaded off the bump.
That 2 car's my runner-up for best throwback scheme. You think of Dale Earnhardt, 79 and 80, driving for Rod Osterman. That little team out of California in 80 with a young 19-year-old crew chief, Doug Richard Earnhardt. Drives that Mike Curb sponsored car in the championship. That's
the first one I noticed yesterday. Looking down on the grid, they were all waiting
Inside
to
the
go
top
out
10
to
now.
practice, and I said, that's my winner right there.
So who is your winner, Mike? You say that's me too.
That's number 2.
And I
Okay. And there's a look at Earnhardt in that Chevy Monte Carlo. Mike Curb, Chevrolet, Warner Hodgson Chevrolet.
who's your favorite?
We'll see that.
Oh,
What he's saying is he has a plan. He's got a plan how this is all going to roll out.
KG veteran. Got him a plan.
And you see right there,
Larry, what are the leaders talking about?
Yeah, we went back racing at an interesting number of laps to go in this state. 61 laps to go. That's a long way to run over 7 tires. Rudy Fugel, William Byron's crew chief's already talking to him about that, saying there probably is going to be some teams that split that number in half, 30 laps apiece. Once again, though, using up more sets of sticker tires. That's going to be a slippery slope.
Well, now here's Chase Briscoe, who had passed Chris Buescher. Now falls back into Buescher's clutches. Is Briscoe maybe pedaling a little bit here?
Well, we were bragging on Briscoe, but let me brag on Buescher as well. He knows how to get around this place. Very good at Darlington. Heartbreaker last year for him. I wouldn't mind seeing him go to victory lane.
Jamie?
Yeah, remember Clint, that race, he had such a solid car all the way to the end. He got together with Reddick, and I talked to him about that. He said, I can't forget it. He said that day we lost 30-something points. We ended up missing the playoffs by 6 points. He said it still hurts. Nothing would help that. And getting back to victory lane, doing it here at Darlington right now, though. Guys, his car is good. They took a pretty split.
Yeah, there was a battle between Tyler Reddick and Chris Buescher last year, man.
Yeah, I remember that vividly. Heartbreaker for him. He had every right to be, and Reddick knew it. He had every right to be frustrated. But hey, RFK, there's a car right in front of him as well. He's running second and third.
Yeah, and And Ryan Preece has been the car that's been he's kind of been at the top of the heap for RFK Racing, but Busher, he's just been solid. Brad Keselowski 11th. We know that this is one of his better racetracks. So he won the race. That's right.
39 of 90 laps in stage 1 complete. William Byron leads all drivers with 7 races led early in this season.
We'll still have common days. But this is not one of them. Keep us here in the sky.
Back with a little run after here, 3/4 to him. Half.
Savory cheese. Hold up. It's got Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning? Nice.
2, 1
Zesty, crunchy perfection. Hidden Valley Ranch. Only serious about flavor.
That's cool. That's cool. 5 here, 12. On first layer 6. After the 12 working bottom. In line now 12. Inside on the flat, 12 inside full.
Any up alongside Blaney there?
Still in here. On the flat. 1 back to the 38, a lane lower. 2 to push. 2. Inside 38, inside full. Clear, clear. 7 back to the 6. Green here, 1 mile green.
Some of the old vintage race cars, some old cup cars, some not so old cup cars, and a lot of the fans are dressed in back up here too. Walking through the garage, saw a Sterling Marlin crew shirt, saw a Jimmy Spencer crew shirt. Fans like to show their colors, both new and old. That's part of the fun of Throwback Weekend in Darlington.
Well, this throwback right here was fast when it was Jeff Gordon's car, and it's fast again today when it's William Byron's car.
Jeff Gordon's final race. That silver car with the exalted flames on it. It's a Chevy SS then.
Yeah, do you remember that race was when Kyle Busch won the championship, his first.
Oh, yeah. Friday and Saturday, he was inaugurating the new 10-10 road course at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Marcus Smith Mechanics project. Jeff has a lot of laps there. No surprise that he would win the Pro-Am celebrity race there on Friday. He's still got it.
Looking for his Wi-Fi, Kev.
Here are your Toyota top performers. Chase Briscoe, who got up to 3rd, is now settled in 4th. Bubba Wallace to 7th. Gibbs 8th. Lana Reddick. Denny Hamlin, one Toyota that's not on that list is Christopher Bell. Going the wrong way since the restart. He has dropped 10 spots to 27th.
Still 3.
Oh, Denny in the wall just a bit.
He just barely touched the wall right there.
Sounded like he hit the wall.
And as we get to this point of the run, let's see, we put it on 20, so we're 22 laps into this run.
Hey, that's Darlington for you. You're gonna scrape the wall at this racetrack. It's just going to happen.
Chase Briscoe, talk about his car practice yesterday, regardless of what your condition is, you better take care of your car. Because if it's tight, it's probably going to get tighter, and you're also going to start to slide the back because that right rear tire is not going to be happy as you run. So you could have two conditions that you're dealing with, and the next thing you know, you're just walking this car all the way through the corner in a controlled slide as the tires wear out.
Yeah, I asked Kyle Larson as he went off our pre-race earlier what to expect today. He said everybody seemed like the balance was tight, but eventually wear that right rear tire out and get loose at the end of the run.
Let's have a look here. Did Denny Hamlin get a piece of the wall, or did he just get close?
Yeah, he just flat-sided right there. So going into turn 3, we talk about this. The cars are different every single lap, and you'll get to a point where, like I said, it'll jump the fence, and all of a sudden the whole car will just start to lose grip. And you'll drive into turn 3, and you want to time that off the brake and throttle back up the hill. But sometimes you just get in there a little bit too far, or the car just gets a little bit loose, and you have to modulate the brake pressure a little bit so you carry a little bit more speed. The next thing you know, as you have to modulate that brake and can't slow the car down enough because it's loose, it'll just slide up the racetrack and bang off the fence like that. Luckily, it banged off the fence pretty square right there.
So Hamlin holding station in 12th, and right behind him, Brad Keselowski, who has picked up 2 spots since the restart. Regan?
Mike, that's right. He's been steadily moving forward as the race has gone on so far early today. Told me this morning he felt very good about that 6 car in terms of what it could do in the long run. Very similar to what it did last year here when he won the race. But take a listen onto this radio to something right here. That is not the voice that Brad is accustomed to hearing. Normally, spotter TJ Majors would be up there talking to him. That is actually Brad's brother, Brian Keselowski, spotting for him today. TJ Majors under the weather, is not at the racetrack right now. So what do? You call in your brother who has helped him out before. He's up there, little brotherly love on the radio right now.
Terrific. Yeah, we hope TJ's feeling better. Must be pretty bad. That's a pretty tough little guy right there that spots for Brad normally, but pretty neat story to see his brother spotting up on the rim.
It's been a William Byron dominated stage
2 laps ago, gave up the
so
spot
far.
to Daniel Suarez, and now he's falling into the clutches of Shane Van Gisbergen as Bell continues to drop back.
SVG a little loose.
Since the restart.
Definitely something that is not right with that car, and it just does not take much to be off here. When you have the guy that's leading the race with clean air that's running really fast lap times, and then you have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th the clean air, and then it starts to bunch up. But now Christopher Bell is he's in a bad spot, struggling, and we're going green for a long run right here, and that's the worst time to have that happen.
It's a great looking car. Bell's inspiration, his mentor was sprint car racer Rick Fergal, ran the Zero. So the Zero's in quotes on Bell's car, and the roof is silver to imitate the sprint car wing. It's a great throwback for Christopher Bell this weekend.
Now those guys were tough.
You bet. The original Outlaws.
Hey, everybody.
Jamie.
Yeah, just to update the 20th, Christopher Bell, who has brought back. He's in 28th right now. I talked to Steve Adams Stevens this morning, and I said, what was the deal in practice? He said, we were tight and slow, moving. He said, we've adjusted to the quick swing at it. We're not really sure what we have. So once they hit the track, we're not really happy with what they have. They've been trying to adjust on it, but you see, guys, he's not going anywhere.
Thanks, Jamie.
Man, Christopher Bell is struggling. Definitely.
We've gone from get all you can get mode to maybe fuel conservation mode right here and tire conservation.
Yeah, I think it's more tire conservation mode because in practice they ran high 30s, mid 30s on tires, and they have to run this whole run. I mean, these things are going to be out of control.
Yeah, I think everybody is thinking, do not split this space. Let's try to go to lap 90, because if you're going to split it, you need pit right now. But I'm listening to the radios about every crew chief is telling the driver, take care of that right rear tire. Just be smooth with the throttle, smooth with everything, getting in and getting off the corner.
That makes perfect sense, Larry, because you've already used up the tires that you were going to put on if you split this stage in half and stopped under green. Ryan Blaney's one of the few cars, though, that continues to inch forward.
Well, typically this car is good on a long run. It's typically like that at a number of the racetracks that we go to. I can tell you this, though. You see him drive low on the racetrack, and it makes it really difficult for it to save the tires when you're low on the track. So what we have happening here,
Keselowski, Hamlin.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's just the case that I think the 11 checked up to not get too close to the 54, and Brad was in the corner a little bit further. I don't think there was anything intentional there. I think it's just a timing thing. Brad was trying to drive in hard to get to the bottom of the racetrack and just mistimed the distance.
Well, he definitely lifted early because Brad drove it off in the corner 3, car lengths deeper as soon as he got underneath of it, so caught him off guard.
And back now from performance cam on board Keselowski and Hamlin. They are 11th and 12th right now. This is the most laps William Byron has ever led at Darlington. He's been out front for 61 so far. It's Throwback Sunday.
And he won here 2 years ago, so see what happens.
Hidden Valley Ranch is made with real ingredients for real ranch flavor that's impossible to put into words. That's pretty close. Indescribably delicious Hidden Valley Ranch. Racetrack. Toward. Towards Mountain Drive. Drive way too big.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to have the option tires here? I think that would make this race more interesting to say. That would be a good idea. I mean, it just depends on if the what in the heck happened to Chase? I thought he was inside the top 5 at one point.
So Reddick
All
saves
right,
still.
back.
Kyle Busch next in line, 7th place. Now he restarted second and has drifted back quite a bit.
I think a lot of these guys are starting to drift back quite a bit, Kevin. See a lot of guys in trouble. Yeah, and the worst thing that they want to hear is there's 20 laps more to go. You kind of made your bet at this point as to what your strategy is going to be. And if you're in trouble, your only goal right now is to not get lapped. Because that switch has flipped, and the cars that are bad are really starting to stick out.
Now Zane Smith has done a good job here. Restarted 10th. He is running 8th for front row in that 1970s Long John Silver paint scheme. That's quite a throwback. And there's Brad. We talked a lot about him. He restarted 15th. He's in 9th place.
Did he go here? 2-0 to go to state. 41 on there.
Well, Brad needs something good to happen.
Salski's up to 9th.
Some moments of bright spots as we went through the speedways. Hadn't qualified real well every week, but we see him running well today.
I think he was excited to come.
Something happened to Chase Briscoe because at one point he was inside the top 5. How the heck is he's all the way in 18th now? Did he hit the wall or something? His car's not good.
Austin Cindric in serving right now. Restarted 5th. He's back to 10th now. Something may be wrong here with the 19.
That's what I'm saying.
For the last lap, Josh Berry, Noah Gragson, Austin Dillon all went past the 19 of Briscoe, who's just cruising in the top groove and continues to lose pace here.
Well, that's what happens here, Mike. When you have a car that just shuts off, and with these next-gen cars, a lot of times when the rear tires go, there's just nothing that you can do other than slow down in order to keep the car going straight.
Both Todd Gillen and Josh Berry. Wow.
Todd Gillen going by and Gragson.
Or no, I'm sorry, not Josh Berry. Gregson and Josh Berry. Yeah.
He's in trouble. With 18, 17 laps to go, that's big time off the pace.
Cindric.
That's Kyle Busch going to bottom and Denny Hamlin closing in.
I mean, I can see 4 or 5 cars on this racetrack, Kevin, that just absolutely look like they're crawling around.
17 more laps in this stage.
And look, I mean, Briscoe just keeps that guy behind him. Cindric the same way.
Jamie.
Yeah, Briscoe's continuing.
Needs to go faster in a place that these cars are so different for him. James Wallace, crew chief, told me they had a great baseline set up for Martin Truex Jr. They always ran one here with them, but they weren't sure exactly. Will the start of this race on the long run?
Ty Gibbs and Christopher Bell in 29th and 30th.
It's just 2 free guys and giving up a lot of track position.
Well, this part in the stage, not many covers and a lot of goers.
So far, the best Gibbs Toyota is Denny, and he is in 12th. And where's Bubba's in 6th? Where's Reddick? Oh, he's in 5th. Okay, 2311 Racing is literally outperforming Gibbs right now.
So really difficult portion of the run when you get this far in and your car is not handling well. It sticks out like a sore thumb.
All right, we're going to take you side by side with 15 laps to go here in State, Arlington.
One back, one car. One lane lower, inside, right on your left rear shoulder. A lane between, still in there. You go down there. Clear, all set, in line. Inside on the flat, door. Right on you now. Clear. 3 to the 16 and 34. That's 16. 5 and you're near to the 34 on the wall. You're clear. Still in there. Grab your left rear. Still there. Still down there on the flat. Still there. Door. Bumper. Clear. After the 16, 2 to the 34. Inside. 3 in your mirror now. 3. Kind of set you off up here. 2 to the 34. 1 to the 34.
16 is flying.
Half back. Inside.
Still there. Bumper clear. Line 2. After the 34. Right on you. Side, inside, side, side, right on you. Still in there. Still there. You're still inside. Still inside. 4 cars still inside behind you. Inside 4. Inside. The lane between. Still inside 4. Very bottom. But still down there. Still there. 21 and 3 are coming.
Oh, what the?
1-0-4.
In the stage.
Yeah, Byron's dealing with heavy lap traffic right now.
Trying to stay on the lead lap, Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell. Here comes Byron.
Well, they better hurry up. Byron, that is, and get around these cars, make quick time of them because Priest and Bush are catching him fast.
That's 3 on the apron.
And that's always the tough part. Darlington, these cars are the 19 and 77. 77 is 2 laps down. He doesn't want to stay in that spot. But
He is pinned in. That's a 34.23 on him. 32-second 87, 32.87, 32.53 on Priest and Bush are coming fast.
and you know how this can be, Clint. When you're that leader, you get raced harder than they'll race the second, third, fourth race cars trying to.
Oh, Carson Osama around and got the Riley Hurts. Yeah, there was just a little space. Yeah, Horses Bar just got squeezed, and there was just nowhere for him to go, really.
I don't think it's as hurt as bad as he thinks. Both front tires flat. But he had to run the leader as hard as he could because we had 2 laps out and no chance for the repass and the track not lose another lap there. But things got just too close.
All the time is mostly up the hill, alley loaded. First half of the corner.
Actually, yeah.
That's where the 3 is now.
On the outside of the 77 and just ran out of room.
Just barely a little lap. Yeah, just no room there.
And Bush, you're right behind him. I mean, they were catching him. It was going to be a matter of a lap. They're going to be on him. That Byron, that is your leader.
Yeah.
Well, that was quite a break for Bell and Briscoe. We're in danger of going a lap down.
Byron didn't touch Carson Osama. It's just Carson just ran out of room.
For your leader, Byron, that was the free pass car would have been Herbst, but since he was involved, there will be no free pass.
Well, this has been an odd race right here, guys. This thing has had not much flow. We've seen one long run right there with a lot of cars really tank.
Well, 3 cautions already. We've only had 1 caution in stage 1 in the 3 prior races combined here. 7 laps to go in the stage. We'll probably get back to green before this stage ends.
How's this going to work out, Larry?
Yeah, everybody's got to come. But here's what's going to be interesting. We're going to go back racing to Mike Point before the stage ends. There are going to be guys at the front that's racing for this stage win, for these stage points. If I'm way back in the pack, I'm coming to get my 4 tires and doing exactly what Carson did at Miami. I'm going to ride around real nice and easy and then stay out of the stage end.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, that's what makes these stages so interesting. Is the guys in the front? I mean, they want the points, and you gotta save the tires, and the guys at the back half of the field can do that strategy. But at some point, the guys in the front are going to want the points if they can get them.
I was so impressed with that late run speed out of the RFK cars, all 3 of them. Look, Keselowski come all the way from, I think, 13 up there to the top 7. Both 2311 cars, Reddick and Wallace are fast. RFK.
Now, stage points. You want to hold around to the end of the stage. What do you want to do here?
Well, I definitely want my tires.
Yeah, of course. cars.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want a good pit stop. Get me back out front of that clean air that I had on my environment.
And it is.
I can't even explain to you how much of a handle these cars are deep into the run like that. That is, as a driver, you just want to get out.
And here come the lead lap cars. Jamie?
Ryan Blaney, it has been 5 long races that he has not finished inside the top 10. They just wanted to come in here and have a solid day, and so far, they've accomplished that. Overall, he says the balance is better. Wants to be just a hair tighter, so they'll make a small air pressure adjustment. 4 tires for the 12 machine, and the 17 of Chris Buescher. This car is much better than it was in practice. The car just gets better the longer they run. 4 tires, no changes, Regan.
Right, 360 cars about the rear of your screen. Very good right now. Just needs the right rear to stick a little bit longer on the long runs. In the 24, William Byron said the balance is good. It was actually better than the first run of the race. A little bit tighter, which he liked.
All green. As the race off pit road from Priest, Bubba Wallace with a great stop.
All right. Bubba up 3 stops. Let's go.
Darlington stripes and flashing by here.
Let me know if I could have done something different to not box the one in there. I'll get to go a tiny bit deeper. Be looking at it quickly, that's all I can see. We can go a tiny bit deeper in this area. We'll move the top course. All right, P19. P19. Our number would be 9. Number would be 9. Basically going to be 2 laps. You'll get it with 2 to go.
Looks like we're going to be having 2 laps to go. I believe 2. Is it going to be 2 to go to the end of the stage, or is it going to be 1 to go? 1 will get back to green. I think we'll be 2, maybe 1. But I mean, so far the race has been decent. It's been good.
Numbers 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Darlington stripes are no joke here.
You're going to get a stripe or 2 on his custom manager car. You can only get so many.
If you do get a Darlington stripe off the turn 2, it generally ruins your day.
But you know, eventually when it comes down to crunch time, that last run of the race, you're going to have to put it on.
That's what Darlington's all about. And the Darlington stripe.
He is row 7
Strike count
outside.
of
All
15
right.
today.
Red, white, order 1.
See, Cole Custer restarted back in row number 7. He took only 2 tires to get his final couple of laps of stage 1. Interesting strategy. Ross Chastain from 9th to 20th on that stop. There's another Brothers Pizza Cab, Joey Logano. Is number 22. They put him on 10th. Austin Dillon with the Perez tree on board camera. It is Rich Joe's number 3. They will go 14th on this restart. And there's Aaron Jones. Kings, number 43. Richard Petty will join us along with Kyle Petty in stage number 2. That's the advent of Cam. And WeatherTech Cam Rashid. And Ginsburg will restart 24.
There we go.
35 cars on the lead line.
Green, green, green.
Down as we move back to green to complete stage 1.
Good to go.
Okay, go.
Oh, try to go 3-1. Someone's going 3-1.
You're not the top 10.
Yeah, it's
You have to
AJ.
take care of your car and your tires right here. If you're in the top 10, you want to get some points. But these Muppets,
Ooh.
as you see, moving wide there on the screen.
Those two white cars side by side, that's where 10th place is. That's the final stage point right there. And up front, second, third, fourth. Almost 3 abreast.
Look at Bubba go.
1 to go in stage 1.
Got a battle for second going on. Priest on the inside, Holmes on the outside. Nobody's lifted yet.
3 wide. Here we go.
3 wide there. Byron's going to win the stage, and who's going to get second? And Bubba's going to get second.
Second to Bubba Wallace, third to Ryan Priest, and fourth to Chris Buescher. Kyle Reddick fifth, and Byron is the first driver since the advent of stage racing to lead every single lap of stage 1 at Darlington.
This is wild. I can't believe this.
Let's take it from In fact, P-Pizz's latest experiment proved you enjoyed it more than a manicure.
I don't even know myself anymore.
Rethink what makes you feel good.
Hey, everybody, that's lunch.
Sure you have, man. Just make sure you're hydrating your way. Get your breath for a second.
Welcome back to the Goodyear 400 at Darlington Raceway, where the end of stage 1 William Byron has led every single lap so far. Now here are your pit crew rankings coming in to Darlington with
Look at that. Bubba and Danny, top 2.
17. On top, Jamie.
Well, Mike, I interviewed Michael Jordan, the co-owner of 2311 in our race day show, and he specifically mentioned Bubba Wallace's pit crew and how great of a job they're doing this year. They've been ranked number 1 since the Homestead race. So let's meet Team 23.
Boss speaking. Front tire changer. My wife and I published a book. Award Lily, I'm on Wildflowers.
Adam Hartman, rear tire changer, 2-time Southeast Region Division 6 double red shirt freshman player of the day.
Joe Carlson, man. I'm a certified welder by trade. Josh Beck, Bueller. Just want to give a shout out to my amazing wife, Felicia. Two awesome kids, Jaden and Jackson.
Charles and Ike, the crew chief for the craft spotter, and there's that pit crew enjoying our video tribute to the leading pit crew in the Cup Series. Right now, Michael Jordan looking on as his three teams perform here at Darlington.
Go MJ.
The 23 team specifically right there, they've done a great job this year. You see how much fun those team guys are having. You hear how low-key and confident Bubba Wallace is. Great to see.
And that team has gained 6 positions on pit road on the stops so far today. Get the job done. The AMR safety crew right there. Bring them on the racetrack that they will pick up.
Trout's call here. Trout's call.
See what happens since everybody, well, almost everybody, was on pit road at lap 85. There were 6 cars. Tires the last time on pit road.
So William Byron wins stage 1.
With Verbo, you save over $200 when you stay a week or more. And any reason to extend a vacation is a good reason to extend a vacation. Stay longer and save with Verbo.
Texas was feeling so stuck. Now Texas is a TurboTax expert. Think everything? Welcome to your referral. Now this is Texas. Intimate TurboTax.
Once you're inside, not sure why Lucky Dog's going to the inside, but he is. Now he's going to the outside. Once you're outside, 5 back. It just does what it do every week.
How many laps are in this stage? I don't know exactly. Imagine if Ryan, what a way if Ryan Freese would get his first win today. But Byron's hard to beat, man. He's been dominant so far.
That was an old open-air press box. Remember, this place is 75 years old. Jamie McMurray, Chris Myers, met some fans enjoying the race from this point of view. And actually, with the cloud cover, it's cooled off a bit. I know not a lot of the drivers complaining about the heat like we had earlier, but talk about it's not nearly as hot as it was back in 1983 here. It was really hot.
Yeah, just how hot was it?
It was so hot that Robbie Allison cut a hole in his roof to cool off, and at later take he won the race, and that year won the championship. Progress complained, but Progress have a different way of cooling off now. But right now we're keeping an eye on the hot Progress William Byron, and he's got flames on the car. It's not hotter than that.
Yeah, Byron's been on a roll here. I'll tell you though, earlier today, who couldn't handle the heat is the two softies that we have in the booth, Clint Chevich. We gave them this opportunity to go for a ride in a couple of Cook Brother cars. And those two guys, they were in 2 laps, Chris. It looked like they jumped in a pool. It's a really sad shape that moves in right now.
I think they'll be in better shape when they finish this race. Back to Mike and the guys who were in the car, back in the booth. We always enjoy your years in the cars, by the way. I think you're just as good in the booth.
Thanks, Chris. I think you're really left us hanging. But here we go with Richard and Kyle Petty.
All right, want to go to 16.
Here at Darlington Raceway.
Our number is 7.
Those storied careers, Richard, of course, included 200 victories. Pass that on to Kyle Petty, who's been behind the wheel since the age of 18, had a great career in Cup of his own. King, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, man, glad to be here, man.
What a place this has been for you. I know good memories, not all good memories, but some really great ones, right?
Yeah, since we raced this year, but it was always one of my favorite tracks, really, because it was so much different. You still went and took the quarter down here was a one-groove track. That's where Darlington Stripe came from. Darlington Red, man. Thank you. They talk about they only come down here in the 50s and 60s. No air conditioning, no nothing. And, Yankees come down here. And, that's people from up north that never been to that.
The 148.
Look at this friendly crowd that's trying to get the mansions like this.
That's what it was. Is it true you used to put like a 4x4 or railroad tie inside the car to keep it busted in from the fence?
51 grade heavy, 43 in those.
Roll bars put around there. It was one of those deals where when it's in corner, he's going to run it long no matter what. So you just went ahead and make arrangements for it.
Kyle, when you look at this racetrack, what sticks out to you from what they do today to what we did for so many years? Because the track is so similar to what you guys did, but the speed is different.
That's crazy. When they came here the first time, when Granddad come in, they run 80 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. They run 170 or 80 miles an hour sometimes. So there's just no room. There's no room for error. We talk about give and take, but you can't give enough at this place. And if you take too much,
Green, green, green.
Right now, we're ready to restart for stage 2. And Ryan Priest up on the front row once again.
Just one inside. Still inside.
Wallace around the outside of Priest for second spot. Reddick and
Check that right there. Middle of the screen. Kyle Busch on the bottom right there, 3 wide. Looks like Austin Dillon and Gregson there. Got stacked up, and Kyle went shooting by on the bottom of the 2.
ahead of them, Cedric and Legato.
Ooh, Austin Dillon. Big run there.
It's the Cale Yarborough inspired paint scheme. Legato, Cale had some success here on his home track.
Clear.
Did he? I don't know. We saw him hit the wall. I don't know if that caused damage or not, Kevin. But since that first off-cycle, when he got off-cycle a little bit, lost that track position, that's a car that never was able to get it back.
Yeah, we've seen all those young cars have a little bit of a tough time today getting the handle on the racetrack. We've seen the 20 to 19 fall all the way to the back, battled themselves to stay on the lead lap. Ty Gibbs got lapped there and took the wave around and was able to get himself back on the lead lap.
I watched Bell's team put some rounds in that right rear free, and that car he was too tight out there. Maybe the adjustments will help. We're about to have a new leader. Bubba Wallace gets flying. Catching William Byron here, getting up into his draft, about 5 car lengths. Nose to tail, but Wallace is really wrapping turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, and in order to see which cars are really going to handle good, we haven't seen anybody challenge William Byron all day. Bubba Wallace, his pit crew, and his car is running good, but his pit crew's done a great job of getting that track position. But his car was really good on the long run. And William Byron had a little little bit of trouble getting through traffic there at the end, but getting to these cars is when these cars get tight and you start to lose the front end. So it makes it difficult until the tires really fall off.
It seems like somewhere around 35, 40 laps on these tires, some of them babies flip the switch. But to your point, Wallace and the other 2311 car, Reddick, them RFK cars ran that leader down. Do not forget that. Very strong on a long run. All right, Eric Jones, we mentioned, Will Morrell saved those tires. And here he is in the Advent Health number 43, the Check It for Andretti scheme. And Richard, the Petty Blue and the STP Red. You know, now it looks really great, but when that first happened, how'd they look together?
Well, okay. One thing about the colors, no matter where that car's at, that crowd or whatever, you can see it stands out like neon lights. Oh, it's like those colors together.
Was Andy Granatelli really that tough to deal with?
It was to begin with. We were sitting down and talking to begin with. He thought it was really tough. But he never ran up against a cool crowd. You can put your orange on for a bigger number.
Oh, okay. Kyle, throwback weekend always brings out these paint schemes. You've watched it, you've lived it your whole life. I mean, a throwback life, right? And what's your favorite out here this weekend?
Pearson or the Wood Brothers always bring their A game. They are hands down the team, no matter what they come with, whether it's something Pearson did, whether it's just Jim Clark color scheme. They just come with uniforms. They come all the way through. They live for this weekend. So for me, hands down, in their 75th year, congratulations to those guys being here with that car.
Yeah, that's my winner right there. British Racing Green, Lotus Yellow. They had to get approval from the Chapman family that owned Lotus to duplicate the Jim Clark Indy winner from 1965, which was pitted by Leonard Wood and his group. Leonard's been telling stories all week. He said when he first met Colin Chapman and Lotus, somebody said, I sure hope those Virginians move quicker than they talk.
Richard, did you ever drive an Indy car? I ran there one time in one of Ford's cars. And so I was going to get in the car, Ford said, "Right, you got to take your boots off. Here's a sign saying that shit. That's how close clutch and the brakes and everything." I said, "Forget it." You know, I made sure to wear my boots. I ain't driving. I made sure to wear no button. And his boots are 12. So just like I say that. It's a half size. Yeah. 12 wasn't going to fit in.
Relics now in second.
Tyler Reddick now in second. 0.6 of a second behind William Byron, Bubba Wallace in third, Ryan Preece fourth, Ryan Blaney in fifth.
And as the boss, that's always a good feeling when you see both of your cars running good. That's when you know you've got your organization put together and the details and dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And we've seen a massive change out of Bubba Wallace and just the way that he approaches everything this year. Tyler Reddick, you know, we thought that we would be in contention today. We thought that a few times this year.
Let's just see what happens. Reddick is currently just over a half a second back.
He's lost his voice because he's been up at the 10-10 strike all weekend about Charlotte, telling stories non-stop. Come on, the delight of everybody. Imagine that. But what's your favorite Darlington memory?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I've been coming here forever. We talked about it before. My dad came here when he was 13 for the first time. I've been coming down here since the early 60s. There's so much history in this place. There's places we race. And you feel the history of the place. You feel the ghost of the drivers that came before you. Whether it was Bob Roberts or Curtis Turner or Richard Petty or David Pearson or Dale Earnhardt Sr. and those guys, you know, so there's just so much history. And I think that's what makes this place special. So for me, I don't think there's ever been a bad memory. I never ran good here. Remember, I famously said they should build this place up and have stadium bass fishing in this place. They can't do that. That's how much I love it. But, you know, it's a place that you look forward to coming.
Yeah, minnow fun. Forget the minnow fun. Forget the place with water. Let's have fishing tournaments. That was kind of Betty's life. William Byron, the only Chevrolet in the top 10. AJ Allmendinger is 11th, the next one, but Byron has led every lap so far here. But for how long?
But that Reddick's definitely closing in.
We saw this at the tail end of that first run. Kevin, it is easy to get complacent and leading this whole race in dominant fashion, never
anybody contest you. No changes, don't change anything. The car is getting bigger. Right behind Byron Chevrolet and those two Toyotas are 7.
Hoping Reddick can get redemption and win. That would be amazing from last year too.
You see Ryan Blaney on the inside of Brian Priest right there. You see the flames come out of the pipe. Brian just concedes that.
Yeah, I don't think Denny hasn't been really inside the top 10. I believe all the race. I don't think. So, we were in the top 3, top 10 for the first part of the stage, for first part of stage 1, and then just fell back. Yeah, it's been a William Byron domination. Like, let's just say that. RFK and 2311 are having great races.
And 1 lane lower. Inside barely, inside door, inside. Clear about 15.
Back to 17th.
This is what joint pain looks like when you keep moving with the leaf.
Corey Heim would be the better option to be in the 35, I have to say. If you ask me, you know.
Running a line that's mostly lower than Byron's.
Well, you have to go further down in order to get some air on the front of that car to be able to get the car to handle like you need to. So you got to have options. Get in the corner right here. You can run right in behind him if you're going to do that. You got to back up, run to him at the center of the corner so you don't lose the car. On the edge where you go to do something different.
I think you have to be careful though. As you get in that wake in that car, you're going to start using your tires more. I heard you say moving around, going where he's not. That's going to be harder on your tires. I want to wait until the opportunity presents itself. That opportunity would be a lap car. All right, things have stabilized for the moment. Jamie.
Meanwhile, William Byron continues to lead every lap. His teammate Kyle Larson, complete opposite. Wrecked hard on lap number 4. He has been in the garage for about an hour and 15 minutes. This is his crew chief, his team. They have completely rebuilt the front end of this race car. Meanwhile, the driver, he's been in the car with the window net up, watching the race on his phone. Their full intentions are to get back out there.
Back to the 99.
Damage It's vehicle policy clock. When cars are in the garage, they can work on them and return the race like we used to do.
Yeah, well, you can return to the race, but you have a few laps to run minimum speed. That's why they're taking so much time on that car to try to get it correct. So when it goes on the racetrack, Kyle can be competitive in order to stay out there.
Speaking of get it correct, I'm glad that they corrected that rule. I like that the fact that you can go back out there with this car that's more bolt-on pieces. There's pieces you can fix. Back in the day, Kyle, you used to weld it back. I remember watching them weld a spring in the bucket. Then that wouldn't work, so they just welded the bucket. They welded a wrench in the bucket, and you went back out there. Are you sure that's going to work? Well,
That's you cut out 55-gallon drums and used to metal out of it. Anything you could do to get back out there and score some points. All you needed sometimes was 1 or 2 laps to pick up 4 or 5 positions. 4 or 5 positions at that time in the sport were huge.
They're even more big now. We've watched playoffs beat this by a point.
And it's also a great team building experience. Not only for the
Yeah, Bubba's now dropped to 8.
But for those guys to show him that they're going to fix the car and to work together to if you make up one spot throughout the day, that makes that work pay off.
There's Richards, number 43, currently in 14th spot. The RFK cars are now 4th, 5th, and 6th behind Reddick and Blaney. Byron continues to lead this race, the most any driver has ever led from the start of any Darlington race. Richard, I want to go back to 1970 for a second, not because this is such a huge crash, but because of what came afterward. When you flipped down what was then the front straightaway here at Darlington, into the wall in your Plymouth, and boy, knocked the wall down. Yeah, and more than that, there's Richard hanging out the left side of the car. Fortunately, not badly injured, but what that led to, what did your mom do after that happened?
I think made some bitter in. And I think we really winter in California and Riverside. That it wasn't mandatory anywhere else. Once we did that, I said, this is going to work. So the man said, now we're going to put that foot on the winter day. And then I took something about that. Spent time for it.
I heard she took a tennis net and then put a hem on it and put it all together. Is that true?
She had some stuff that was hard put together. No max. No max. I was 69 in the race. So she said, they need to be fired. So she made it, cut the things and made it 75%. That's it. You remember when Nomex came out?
Yes.
You couldn't die. Here's that
Yellowish, whitish.
Yeah, it's that. So if you look at the one in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, that's the one she made. It's in the Hall of Fame, which is pretty cool. To have my dad, my granddad, and my grandmother in the Hall of Fame.
Wonderful.
Ryan Blaney is putting some lap times down. Run these first 2 cars down. Looking at the inside of Reddick. 12 cars flying, guys.
Yeah, down there on the apron, following that line around, getting out of the wake of that 45 car. That's a line that I love to run on that hash mark down on that apron, but it is hard on the tires if you do it a long time.
Larry, we're coming up on halfway in this stage. What do you look?
Yeah, Mike, this is a 95-lap stage. We went back racing with 87 laps to go. If you split it down the middle, you'll run to lap 140. And we know Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, they're notorious for splitting it right in half. But I think once we cross here at about 4 to 5 laps, you'll see some of them start to come early. At this track, once 1 or 2 hits, you better not be far behind. It may happen as they're catching these lap cars, too. I talked about that earlier, being an opportunity. These guys are running that leader down, but I'm seeing Reddick falling back for the leader, Byron. That's when he catches Reddick.
34.
Denny Hamlin's Toyota Cam showing him currently in 18th place. 4th among the Toyotas behind Reddick, Wallace, and Jones.
Quarter to the 34. 34, keep right here together. Out of line, not 34.
Wallace
Middle.
with 8th, restarted 2nd, 34. Reddick up to 2nd, restarting 4th. Bring it.
Just to update about the officers in a couple positions right here since that restart, as you mentioned. You just had to listen closely to his radio. Most guys or many guys getting loose at this stage of the Bubba is actually asking for help with a little bit of tight on exit. As Ed said a couple times now, said that the biggest issue I've got, I can't finish the quarter because I lose the nose. So maybe on a day when so many cars are very, very loose right now, not a bad thing to have to adjust for a little bit tight.
Blaney on pit road.
Blaney's on pit road. Just like third place. Yeah, just like you talked about, Clint, just getting in one lap before. That'll most likely, as long as everything goes well on pit road, allow him to leapfrog Tyler Reddick.
Well, the other reason I like that is we were sort of catch these lap cars. It's going to slow the pace down anyway. So your leader one more lap with Byron. Be long for you. Here comes Reddick. Kyle Busch is in. A lot of the leaders starting to make their way up pit road. First green flag stops we've had today.
Clear. Keep working here.
Ryan Price up pit road. Zane Smith. There's Michael McDowell. Riley Herbst. Larry, if you're the leader, people are getting new tires. How long do you dare stay out there?
I think they've got to come right away. As I said, you get some drivers, and again, Hamlin and Keselowski are notorious for taking advantage of those fresh tires on the second run and running it right to the halfway point.
Yeah, if he pits right now, he's not going to be the leader anymore.
There's Keselowski with pit lane along with Bubba Wallace. AJ Allmendinger's in. Austin Cindric. Noah Gregson.
Keselowski's in. Byron's still out there.
Keselowski done. Gregson finished. There's Justin Haley. And so the first drivers that's been in. There's Ross Chastain now on pit road at 133.
See Kyle Busch in right there. As we watch William Byron continue to lead this race and stay out, we assume that he's going to split this stage in half.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of this happen at Homestead.
Oh, Keselowski.
Right, Keselowski around halfway anyway.
Ooh. No caution.
Possibly, I think he missed pit road.
I think you're right.
Caution.
He's got a record flag. He just had come off pit road. He just had left pit road.
Wow. I want to see what happened. What happened here? I don't know. Oh. Did he have a loose wheel? Loose wheel. Yeah, loose wheel.
Keselowski was sixth before pit stops.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna.
We still have about half of those.
Look at there. You see the nut off the wheel right there.
That's what I was thinking.
Just was on pit road. And the reason that thing stayed on there is it was sliding around the track. I can't believe he's made it. He's going to come onto pit road right now and made it all the way around there. Got that wheel on. Stay out of the penalty. Penalty's been done, though.
So William Byron has not stopped, nor has Joey Logano. Eric Jones, remember he rode around at the end of the stage. He's in third place.
That's going to hurt Keselowski's day.
Denny Hamlin in fifth. Alex Bowman in eighth. They have not been on pit road since lap 85.
Mike Rudy Fugo, crew chief of William Byron, told me several weeks ago, we won the Daytona 500. We got a bigger playbook because we've already got a win.
Good point. Caution. Debris on the racetrack puts us under caution at lap 138 before the end of the pit stop cycle.
Well, Byron will no longer be the lead anymore.
And the 43 is now come to pit road. Reddick and Blaney had unlapped themselves on those fresh tires.
You know what I love? Once a racer, always a racer. Did you hear Richard right there? We made it pit road. That's all he sees out there is that 43
saw that. That's going to put you in a really good spot when all these guys have to pit right here.
You know, honestly, even all those cars that had pitted a few laps before, they've already got a number of laps on their tires. That is not going to work out well.
No, not at all, Larry.
cars that haven't been on pit road since lap 85, led by Byron. Another group led by Josh Berry, who pitted at lap 94, and then everybody who just pitted under green. So that's about a dozen cars that have not been on pit road in quite a while. Now, one of those that stopped was Chris Buescher. He will get the free pass on this caution flag. Everybody else, guess they have to wait and take the wave around. Now let's go back to Keselowski and that pit stop.
It really seems like it's pushing down on that rear really hard the whole run. I had that a few years ago here, and it makes it really take the start. Fucking
so hard to tell right there.
Yeah, we definitely are migrating to Luke for sure.
If you look closely,
that fly off of this thing, right as this car is spinning out, right, coming in upside down, right there. That's another those wheel. There it is.
Tough break for a really good car. Brad just need to get it right here. Had one going.
Yeah, just too tight.
Major setback.
Richard, Kyle, we've been thrilled to have you join us for a little bit of this race. Thank you for coming by.
And interesting. Once trying to operate up here.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment because last year on leaving, you said, I don't know what race you guys were watching, but it's been a pretty good one for the 43 so far.
Yeah, the big deal is when I'm sitting here, see what I see on TV. The race is really back about 15 to 20. They've got that kind of
Syrian. You will be Syrian.
they're really racing back there, but if you're here, you can't see it on TV.
No, we try to get back there as much as we can. You're right. If you want to see it all, come by and take a drive.
Now, second gear.
Richard, guys, enjoy it.
Kyle, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Syrian.
The King. Nothing cooler. Pit road's open, Jamie.
Josh Berry and that awesome Jim Clark throwback paint scheme makes his way down pit road. Said he could be a little bit tighter, got a little free as they went on, but they're going to leave it alone. Just put 4 tires in it. Meanwhile, 20 of Christopher Bell, we talked about his issues. Just the car was not happy. No grip in that first stage. Said he was a little bit better here. He said the car just will not turn when you put stickers on it, which is what they just did. Regan?
Battling loose in the 22 car the majority of the day. No different this run, but they have been making gains on it as he progresses forward in the 24 car. Had to work the tires a little too hard. That run got free at the end.
Right rear there.
There's a race off pit road, and Byron a winner once again. Darlington, the Goodyear 400. We got to take a picture of here. Give us a break.
All right, man. Hydrate yourself here, boy. And reset by it, please. Reset by it. Copy. Thank you. All right, we're P4. P4.
Huh. P4? Well, yeah, because I think we lapped. Yeah, because we're still in the middle of green flag pit stop. So, yeah. Does that mean Byron's still leading? It is.
Oh, we were ahead of a 9 on pit road. Your number is 1. Your number is 1. They've been double stacking the top majority, but number is 1 here.
Weekend. Racing starts Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1 with the Truck Series.
21 and 54 with you. 22, 20, 40.
Ray Bowell won twice here at Darlington, drove the pace car for today's race.
I just get a roughly the same 42 to go.
19 career cup victories. He is a nominee for the NASCAR Hall of Fame and joins us here in the booth. Had a great lengthy discussion last night about rules and short track racing and stuff you're doing with Cletus McFarland, and wow, looks like you are having a ball.
Well, that conversation was at the bar, and you kind of look like, well, you never left the bar. You know, I never lost my sleep. No, it was fun. We had a great conversation. I'm sitting there after a drink, having a beer, and on our way back to the hotel, and we had a great discussion about all the rules. I think we got it all figured out. I hope so. Speaking of fun, boy, you've been having a lot of fun lately. I have. I've been having a lot of fun. Just ran the Freedom 500 this Friday night and doing a bunch of stuff on YouTube, videos, and having fun with Cletus. So.
Well, that's good. When you come back to Darlington, you always ran really well here. You've been
All
back
right,
here
getting
several
ready.
times. What do you see out of these cars in today's NASCAR world?
You know, I mean, it looks a lot of the same. I remember racing you side by side here. We're up front in the lead. But tire wear.
Ready here. Green flag.
Looks like the tire wear's back. Back under green. Chase Elliott had to make his second pit stop in that sequence.
Well, exactly what Greg said is what we all love about Darlington. No matter what generation car,
Byron just chewing the pole.
bring, it's the same old Darlington. And you see these restarts as wild as they've ever been, coming up out of that hole, off of turn 2, over the bump, and got to get it sorted out. Get in trouble really quick here.
Everything I'm seeing, obviously, that untimely caution shook things up yet again with this race. Some new equipment up front. Josh Berry, Bell. Here it is, Denny Hamlin. Finally got that track position back. Bell and Berry going at it 4th and 5th right here. That is my pick, Clint. You asked. Best throwback paint scheme, Wood Brothers, and that Jim Clark Indy winning number 21. Love it. What history. You want a history lesson, Pitbull? You come up here and spend a day with me on a Saturday at a paint, throwback weekend, all these paint schemes. We went to the colors, the reason the colors are, the numbers, and then it's been educational.
And you will also have no problem finding the best restaurants in town, the most historical spots in town. Mike is definitely our school teacher for the weekend.
We've had a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of cool paint schemes here. I'm telling you, it's neat to come and see it. But I'll tell you what, the bumps are back, Kevin. I went down there and drove that pace car, and across.
Oh, Bubba forcing it 3 wide.
Yeah, but they put that patch off of turn 2, and they've actually ground the entrance and the exit of the patch. And when you come off the exit of turn 2, if you're not right in the middle as you go down the hill, right here, and if you're not in the right spot with the way that the bump limiters and things are, they're still bouncing off of it, but it's all that you can tolerate. You have to have the wheel straight right there, or it'll do what Kyle Larson did earlier. It wasn't because of the bump, but it'll do the exact same thing. If you come off that corner tight, you have to pitch the car down over the bump.
You can't keep a good man down. This Brad Blaney will not go away. Right back to the front he goes. Trying for his first top 5 finish ever at Darlington. He's like lap series run well here. For a big finish.
That'd be a great day to right in the throwback to that paint scheme on board that Dutch boy Ford Mustang, Menards Ford Mustang there. It's pretty cool when you can throw back in the family.
Greg, I knew which scheme he was going to pick. Before the thing ever started. What's yours? There's so many great paint schemes, but the Wood Brothers on this throwback paint schemes always seem like they have some of the best. Throughout the years, the Motorcraft car and all those other things. It seems like they do it the best with the crew uniforms and all. That settles it, guys.
William Byron is just unstoppable at this point.
Everybody said the Wood Brothers. Well, they've got 75 years to choose from. They've got more history than anybody else.
Wait, someone.
Lady scheme that you saw a moment ago, his dad Dave was all about champion, raced in the Busch Series, raced in the Cup Series, nearly won a Cup race for Bill Davis, but he did have a Busch Series win, and that is what is replicated on Ryan Blaney's car today. They just couldn't get the avocado green on there. He was a little disappointed about that, but it's great, and it's run up front.
Always look better up front.
Let's talk about who's running up front. We new life into the car of Joey Logano Hamlin now. They've got the track position. Josh Berry at his end of the list. Finally, those cars are handling Kevin.
And the more track position that they get, the better they're going to handle. You get stuck in the middle of this pack, and you don't have a perfect handling car or a really fast car, you wind up just getting stuck. So being able to have some things fall your way, and you guys have been here enough. There's just moments in these races at Darlington that come down to you're either on pit road or not on pit road, or the caution comes out at the wrong time, right time. It always seems that we have those moments that happen in these Darlington races.
Right here could be one of them. Gilliland up top, Justin Haley on the bottom. That's a Ray Fox paint scheme for Gilliland. Ray Fox, senior, nominated to the NASCAR Hall of Fame in past years, great mechanic and car owner, 4 generations of Foxes working in NASCAR. Great grandson is changing tires. His grandson has been a car chief and mechanic. Oh, yeah.
Well, that right there, Greg, is one thing that has changed. There weren't too many times that somebody would stick on the outside of your right rear quarter panel when you were driving the cars. It just, you couldn't make it happen. The cars would spin out.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. And I was all just inched up there when I was watching them come off the corner. These cars just stick there, but that's a tough drive.
And one thing that's really different with these Gen 7 cars compared to the cars that we're talking about, they just don't get as loose underneath each other. They don't lose all the air off the side of the car and off the rear deck and so there. So that's been one thing that's been kind of good about the Gen 7 cars. You can run side by side a lot easier and not spin out.
Yeah, more underbody narrow keeps the cars not as sensitive. 33 laps to go in stage number 2. William Byron incredibly has led every lap so far in Darlington. Logano, Hamlin, Bell, Berry trying to catch him.
Barely.
Sheesh. Of all the times I think I've watched NASCAR, at Darlington to be exact, never seen a driver dominate like William Byron at this racetrack. Like, yes, I've known NASCAR drivers dominate races before, but specifically Darlington, never watched a driver literally lead every single lap at Darlington so far.
30 to go, 3 here to go at stage. What about this? Forward, getting you 2 up to here. You maintain on exit. Spot 2. One, two, been up better for sure. 1, 2, been better. Spot 4, good exit.
William Byron leads by 1.2 seconds. Joey Logano, as you see from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, has seen the house since 1925. Happy 1 75th Darlington Racing. So we have the lead. Myron Logano, Hamlin, Bell, Barry to top 5. Ryan Blaney has slipped to 6th. And we'll show you why here.
Blaney, oh, he just, wow, he got into the wall big, yeah.
That's a pretty good. It's not just a love tap there. Yeah, we talk about how Kyle Larson drags the right rear, and that's what you don't want when you hit the right rear and then it grabs the right front, and then it feels like a magnet. You can't get the thing off.
You got 3 strikes for that one.
Well, but you don't. You can't afford it. And a lot of times, the data would show it. That's always been done. Major setback. Time to fix it.
So Blaney in 6th, right behind him, Ty Gibbs and Ty Dillon having good runs here today in the top 10.
And that's why you just have to grind away at this racetrack. Just keep the car rolling. Keep yourself on the lead lap. And we saw Ty go a lap down earlier. Caution came out. He got the wave around, got back on the lead lap, and all of a sudden it flips the other way. And you wind up with the track position just off of a timely caution.
And the Ty Dillon scheme is something their sponsor came up with. He throws back to a Busch Series car that they had back in the day of Beaver Street Foods. That is Patty Moe's, who's a very good Busch Series driver. And that was her sponsor. Now they're on Ty Dillon's car.
Business is picking up. This track conditions is changing a lot. Huge cloud up over the track, dark, and it has cooled down a lot. Picking grip off of these guys. That's playing in favor of some drivers. When you come back for the Southern 500, that's always the trick. And right now we're seeing a little bit of the same thing with this heavy cloud cover. When you go from day to night, and who has the car when that car goes from day to night? So is it going to stay overcast like it is now? Is the sun going to come back out? But we've seen William Byron be good no matter if the sun's in or out. So he's led every lap.
William Byron has led 163 laps. Statistically, that does not bode well here. Drivers who lead the most laps in the last 5 Darlington races finished no better than 4th and mostly outside the top 20.
Yep, we're the downers.
Thanks, Debbie. Yep. Regan?
Like Denny Hamlin in the 11 car up to 3rd position. Of course, it stayed out when that most recent caution came out. Use that to take advantage, get track position back. But something to keep an eye on over the next few laps here with that 11 car. About 28 laps into a run is when he said they go like a light switch from maybe being a little bit too tight to very loose. That's what it was the last one run that we had. Right now, since we're about 22 laps in, so let's keep an eye on what takes place. And if they made gains on that day.
And that's just what happens in this car. Even if you have a tight condition, the right rear tire at this racetrack, it drives off the right rear tire. You have to take care of it. Even if you're pushing, the right rear tire is going to wear off the car. And like we talked earlier, all these cars just take it.
Greg, ride along here with Denny Hamlin. Take me around this place. Just as much as we have.
Yeah, I was noticing his hands. It looks like the car is starting to free up. And like Kevin said, the cars just naturally free up. The tires wear, and the car typically here goes loose. That tends to be better than tight, because if it's tight and you're running up along that wall, the only thing you can do is just slow down. Just slow down. So it's the groove right against the fence all the way around this racetrack. And sometimes you run a little bit lower down at 3 and 4, but typically
Yeah, so we might lose 4 and 3rd here. Josh Berry.
Rotation when it wants to rotate on its own. So with the Gen 7 car, you have to anticipate that rotation to try to keep it from over-rotating. And when you're tight, it makes you slower to get to that point of being able to anticipate it to keep the car from snapping loose. So you get behind, and that's what happens. You get tight, and then it snaps loose because you're behind on the anticipation of the rotation.
And the other side of that is this both into this racetrack being so drastically different. I ran 1 and 2, I was comfortable. I could walk that thing around there. It really felt like I could be very competitive. Never was comfortable exiting turn 4 on that wall. And I needed to be, right?
Kyle Larson's back out.
After a lot of repairs to the front end of that car. Now, when you return to the race from the garage, you have 3 laps, 3 consecutive laps to make NASCAR's minimum lap speed. They did. So they can't continue. Here's what happened back in lap 4.
Yeah, Larson just lost it and hits the wall
Why
there.
would you do this? Why would you want to go back out on the racetrack and be around 160 laps down? I'll tell you why. They lost the regular season championship last year by 1 point, so pretty easy math.
Remember, this is where we come back and start the playoffs, too, in September. They wanted to put pages in their notebook. William Byron, his teammate, has led every lap so far. And prior to the green flag mid-cycle, everybody in the top 10 except Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney were 15th or worse prior to the green flag mid-cycles. Things here have changed. 15 laps to go in stage 2 at Darlington. We take you Fox side by side.
Inside the flat, barely clear. You pitch a quick car the lap there when you're getting towards the fifth, my 2 here. Green, 12 to go, my 2.
All right. Oh, your press go tap the wall or something?
1.5.
9 different faces have gone to victory lane in the last 9 races at Darlington Raceway. And here they are. Will William Byron become the first repeat winner among those 9, or will it be somebody else? We'll find out in
35 really struggling to bounce off of it several times.
Too tough to take.
And he goes here, goes for about 2.5.
Cliff Moyer and Greg Biffle with you here in stage number 2. When the hurricanes hit western North Carolina, the government, FEMA, everybody seemed all kind of handcuffed in red tape. And you hopped in your helicopter and became the hero of the hurricane. I know you're not a glory chaser. You weren't doing it for publicity. You were doing it because there were people out there that needed help, and you found a way to help them. Yeah, absolutely. It was a weird deal the way it came together. I got a message that somebody needed help. Somebody needed, to be airlifted out. And I just thought, if I don't go, who's going to? And we had no idea at that point what was going, what we were going to see. And once I got in the air and got up there and saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, and no communication, no power, roads are blocked, and this is in a city setting here. But when you get up in the mountains, there's no access anywhere. And so it was, just jumped into action and off we went. And then the helicopters that came after that, the people, the messages I got, well, that's it. It wasn't just what you did. It was all the social media that was generated by your efforts, attracted people and equipment and supplies. And a bunch of us chipping in for helicopter fuel, and it became just just a huge groundswell effort. And you folks did what, I don't know why, the government couldn't do. And I think it's something that people just weren't ready for. How does a hurricane hit the mountains? And it was just, I think it caught everybody off guard that, how do you get in there? There's a tree down every 30 feet for miles and miles. And then when you get there, the road's washed out, the bridge is washed out. The water's 60 feet deep over top of the roadway. It just took everything in its path. And so it was and all the race teams, people came and brought supplies and helped out. It was a tremendous thing to see. The humanitarian effort of just people in general. And all of Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee, thank you. What a wonderful humanitarian response.
And I think when you look at NASCAR racing, there isn't a sport that does it better from an event like that, or charity, or supporting each other. This sport is such a tight-knit group of people, and when those things happen, you won't find a more giving group of people than this NASCAR community.
Yeah, and the last thing to you guys, the network of NASCAR, your lifelong efforts being in this sport, and the people that you meet. We needed a gym. Oh, I know, guy. Let me call this guy. I remember this guy, right? He just through that connection of life living in NASCAR and all these people, all these companies that you've not only represented but worked with, and that network sure helps out when you're in a situation like that.
And it did, and it was crazy to see the amount of, all the people delivering, supplies and furniture roads, tractor trailer loads of bedding and all kinds of things. So it just, everybody poured out in support, brought merchandise, brought stuff, and we flew it out and got it to the places that needed to go. And I think the Starling, story was the best. They delivered 300 units basically overnight to my shop. We took them to the airport, had them on helicopters. It was a pretty neat effort to get search and rescue and to get the folks back into communication. Who needed help was the biggest thing. Fantastic. Well, I thought, Kevin, when Ryan Blaney hit that wall, as hard as he hit the wall, it would hurt him, and he's hanging up right there in the top 10. Hasn't taken him out of this race.
No, his pace has still been pretty good. If something's wrong with his car, you sure wouldn't be able to tell.
And then I'm going to tell you, just what a difference this caution made. Look at the top 10. You've got Ty Dillon up there, Gibbs, Bell. He had trouble early. These guys that Reddick, you saw at the tail end of that run those guys down. But Buscher's back there now, struggling back here in dirty air, needing to clean air. Pagano had him to list up there. Denny Hamlin started up there, had trouble because it swapped when they came in and took tires, lost the track position, and luckily got it back here. You don't want to lose it again. William Byron, I think he just might lead every lap here. I don't know. Well, he may be lucky that this stage only has a lap and a half to go because Joe Pagano is coming. And it seemed like Pagano struggled early in this race. And I was shocked by that to see that this wasn't making any progress. And now he's
Final stage
you see
2.
right now, that is exactly right, Clint. You see William Byron has got the tail end of the field right there, and he just can't go anywhere in traffic. And Pagano has clean air and he's running right up to him.
Stage 2.
And William Byron's going to get the stage 2 win.
Cody Ware's going to stand on the tail end of the lead lap. Byron captures stage 2. He is only the second driver in stage racing history to lead every lap.
That was 42. Got a little better in there to start.
Yeah, talk about domination. Winning every lap domination.
Yeah, might as well, I guess. I just worry about being really tight to start up the hill. That's what scares me. Yeah, I agree with you. It won't be much, just a little bit, because obviously, if it goes green, you're going to have to do about 9 laps longer than that or so in this next stage.
you're 37 years old and still kicking our asses. So hopefully I'm half as competitive as you were at that age because it's a great feeling.
Join Kevin every Tuesday and Thursday. This is the best podcast in NASCAR. Tune in and see Kevin Harvick's
always in the lane or had the lane on the wall after you start finish.
Jamie.
Like the Wood brothers have
Chris, I
contributed
don't
so
want to
much
send you
to
down
the
the wrong
NASCAR
path.
community
What
and the
I've
sport in
asked
general
before,
over their 75
is that
years,
what you see
especially
or
back
not?
in the 60s when they developed
I
the
don't
modern day
want to
pit
try
stop.
to take
As
the last
everybody
10
gets
laps
ready
of
to
run.
come in, let's
Don't
meet the guys go
restart
over the wall with
everything
the
else.
Wood brothers.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we see. Definitely the balance of this all goes far too quickly. We're just barely going to catch up on the front end. So we're just trying to help it keep
All right.
Hey, so Ryan, Tiger Carrier, played football at Indiana University.
Wesley Kramer, Jack Benn, former defensive tackle for Indiana University. Go Hoosiers.
Mike Baker, fielder, played football at Little Rock University.
Wait for down low right here.
Spotter, Stanley, one-time engineer, and Team Penske, Todd Gordon's engineer for, I think, 13 years.
So let me get this straight. We
Come in this
now
time.
heard
You'll
we've been
come
in
off
the
before
modern
the
day
first
pit
two.
stop with the Wood brothers there on site today, and
We'll be clear.
Randy family was up here and been at the window net. So we've uncovered a few things. Again, we haven't covered them today, but reminded people.
So we were talking with Greg about the first Southern 500 in 1950. Johnny Manson of London was the slowest qualifier. He won the race because he ran zip-line truck tires, never had to change them.
Now, two red. Now, two red.
From fans, cars,
One
and
red.
stuff like that. But what else
One
was unique
red.
about
Now,
that
one red.
racetrack? Well, what
All
was
green.
unique
All
about it
green.
is he said they all ran down to the bottom of the racetrack, on what we call the apron, off of the racetrack. And I guess the racetrack was only what we call the racetrack, one lane wide. So pretty interesting. Yeah, until somebody got shoved up onto the ranking and said, hey, this is fast.
One.
They had trouble in that 12 car. Left side trouble, Kevin. That's a slow stop.
Well, we covered every week. Right on the brink of disaster. You see it again right there by Brian Blaney this time around.
Red there.
So Byron again, first off pit road. And
All right, we gained the spot.
backing up. Here's the 12 stop.
I could get the jack under the car.
You'll be clear when you get there. Hydrate yourself for me, and you get entry set your biases.
Hold on.
Copy. something to think about here. You guys can discuss it. They have stacked the top multiple times a day, especially early on. URP2 here, 22, 54, 20, 21 out back. Think about what you want to do here.
Last year, he won 3 of the first 8 races, but didn't win a race after that. The Daytona 500, they're trying to close out his second win of this year. Let's go. Camp Jamie, and first, I think some drivers that were trying to apply some heat. But a caution changed that. Kyle Larson came in as the favorite, running 19th. You see the 5 car. He was the odds-on favorite.
That was a great paint scheme too, though.
But not a factor after dominating
Okay,
this
I don't have
race.
that for you for the day.
Lap 22, 22, Carson Hocevar, and Riley Herbst involved in a crash. Contact is behind the leader. Byron goes on to win stage 1 and stage 2, but the loose wheel was caution became a big Kozlowski changed everything.
Yeah, the lug nut actually was on the racetrack. NASCAR threw the caution. I thought the two guys that could contend with William Byron, Tyler Reddick, and Ryan Blaney, they had pitted, got caught out. Blaney, though, had recovered, got all the way back to 4th. We saw the issue on pit road with just over 100 laps to go in this race. I don't know if he can get back up there. The other big benefactor, though, was
Numbers
Denny
here,
Hamlin.
22, your number 1. So that would double stack. What are you going to do?
He didn't have the track position he needed. Right now, though, the 4-time winner is in a great position.
And a place where legend myths are created here in Darlington. Byron hoping to add to his or create even more one. Let's go back to Mike and Kevin and Clint in the booth.
Thanks, Chris. Greg Biffle's been with us for stage number 2, and thanks for being part of the Throwback Weekend Driving the Pace Car. Hanging out with Clint being up on Sawyer last night. That was a long conversation. Well, glad to have you here. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'd love to go up here and check this out and be around you guys.
It's always good to see you, Greg. Always, especially with fun. Fun looks good on you. It looks like you're having fun. Anytime you show up, come into the booth to be on TV with no sleeves on, screams you're having fun. I had to do it.
Typically, Clint is our lead rapscallion up here in the booth. So,
Yes.
Today you came in with no sleeves, right? Kind of trying to take some of his thunder away.
I love it. Next time I'll have my suit on, I promise.
Okay, good.
All right.
Did you take that helicopter down here? You flying home?
Of course.
My man.
All right, back to business. Noah Gregson entered pit road not single
That's going to be
file.
100 to go, 100 to go and get ready.
Leaving the pit box for Ricky Stenhouse.
Everything ready, we'll go blue now.
The back.
Go blue.
Justin Haley had to come back and tighten the lug nut on his number 7. Remember, that was Kyle Larson's crew last week. They pretty much swapped crews. Crews for both cars supplied by Hendrick Motorsports. Let's get ready to restart. Byron and Hamlin, Pagano and Gibbs, Bell and Reddick, with 3. Barry and
All right, getting ready for the final stage.
Busher, row 5.
These guys
Ready,
These guys all know how hard it is to pass today. They're going to get more and more impressive on these restarts. Here we go.
Speaking of which, that inside line.
Just go to 22. Careful. Careful. Door.
Byron is just too good on restarts.
On the outside, he's wheeling. Nowhere to go. He's stopped right there behind Haley. He had a great launch off turn number 2. Bell did.
1 to 2 wide.
He wants more and gets it. Bell in second
2 to
place.
the 20. 2 to the 20.
We've seen Christopher Bell's car run really good on the short run. I should say it's run better on the short run than it has the long run. So it's amazing what happens when you get that track.
Oh, Josh Berry around into the wall. Wow. Wow.
Yes, Reddick.
Not clear, I would say. Yeah, he definitely was not.
A lot of front end damage to the Wood Brothers car.
Pull back off top of the thing after
7th caution flag of the day. The MR safety team right there.
Should have passed halfway down the back. He's on the inside. The crew should be good.
Window net down. Looks like he may be climbing out. See. Indianapolis Motor Speedway President Doug Bowles sent the Wood Brothers a letter asking them to run this scheme again, please, when they come to the Brickyard. Later later this summer to honor Jim Clark's Indy win. So we love
Let's
it.
see.
But, any caution,
Oh.
contact with Reddick.
Yep, there was contact.
Variance on in the wall hard right front.
You got your switch, Greg. Yeah.
That was kind of crazy. So I did go over replay, right? It just came up on Barry just a little bit.
Always one last pitch tail, anything up the hill in the one or not. Everything felt fine.
Bristol, Tennessee, 5:30 Eastern Time on FS1. IndyCar at Long Beach next Sunday, 4:30 Eastern on Fox. And the NHRA Las Vegas next Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. All the quickest and fastest motorsports are on Fox.
Yeah, he was running inside the top 10 too.
Yeah, as we go back and look at this, Clint, we see the 45 and the 21 right there.
I see the 21. Yield the position, lifted a little bit to let him in. Reddick thought he was clear, just like they said on the radio, not clear. Got up into him, took his front end, put him in a wall, put him down. Josh Berry had a top 5, top 10 car.
Wasn't clear from Reddick, and then
close right corners racing off the 2. I think the intentions were right on both drivers. Unfortunately,
just bad timing. Unfortunately,
right I mean, you see that Barry's coming down the hill to try to get in position. And
just a racing incident.
It's just they came together at a bad time right there. He was going down the hill, and the others up the hill lower than the guy on the outside in the 21. Josh Berry expected.
You hear him walk, trying to lift to give him the position. 20 back. It happens fast, especially in that corner. 7th caution of the day. Riley Herbst will get the free pass. Regan?
Oh my God, that last pit stop, Denny Hamlin picked up one position, and we've been seeing some interesting new moves on pit road. Take a look at what his team is doing on pit road in terms of the jack man and what he has to do running around the race car. You'll see it right here when they drop the jack. Watch this. The jack slings around from behind him. He crosses his hands over and saves a couple steps right there. One of the guys that's had to learn that this year, Joe Alexander. I know I probably just butchered that name, but I tried really hard. You've been doing that movement the majority of the season. How long does it take to get the hand-eye coordination and figure all that out?
It's a long process. It took about every bit of the offseason. Just every rep you're getting a little bit more confidence. Enough to take it out to the track because there's a lot of risk out here. But yeah, I'd say about the entire offseason.
Well, it's looking good right now. You picked your driver up a position, and Mike, I can tell you that Chris Berkey, the pit crew coach for Joe Gibbs Racing, he tasked these guys with finding a way to save steps and get every 10th of a second on the pit road, and they have been doing that.
I'll tell you, that's awesome. You look like Junior Johnson slinging that jack around the front of the corner. Maybe Jeff Hammond.
Didn't Junior Johnson take somebody out, maybe allegedly on purpose?
An official was giving them a hard time, and the official would stand at the front of the car out on pit road during the pit stops. And as the story goes, Junior decided to teach that official a lesson. As he swung the jack, he swung it right around 2 feet, right out from under the fence.
So like he might have been in the way, Mike.
And as I'm watching the video right there, that's what I think about the front tire carrier right there. Like, oh man, it gets a little wide.
When you're talking
jack right in the knees,
pit stops inside of 9 seconds, it's all the little things.
The egg-shaped Darlington Raceway. You'll see it from our aerial coverage today. Presented by Goodyear. Celebrating 100 years of American icon, the Goodyear Blue.
Into that story, the official was never assigned to the 11 pits ever again.
Right. The biggest drubbing in the history of Darlington Raceway came here in 1965 in the Southern 500. It was Ned Jarrett's only Darlington win. He went on to win the championship in the Cup Series that year. He won by 14 laps. That is a NASCAR record. That'll never happen again with stage racing and wave arounds and free passes and everything we know today. But I would say what William Byron is doing today is the closest to what Ned Jarrett did in 1965 in today's NASCAR. This is a drubbing. He's led every one of 200 laps so far.
Well, if it stays this way, this race was
22, 54 with you. 20, 45, 40, bottom, you got 5.5 margins up right.
was on this particular racetrack.
Going back green, that's good. This has been the William. When it comes to the leaders, this has been the William Byron show.
Kind of noticed that the way this race has had comers and goers based on timing of pit stops and where you are in the restart lineup and Kyle Busch.
Difficult to
Alright,
pass.
everything ready. You ready for the championship entry here? We get the good show.
To find somewhere to set somebody up for a pass. So as a driver, it is very frustrating. You got to keep yourself
You're
focused.
going.
Here we go.
Now 5. Ready.
Green,
ready.
green, green.
Either one of you have help. You're good by one.
Oh, it's 3 wide one out the back. Oh, Christopher Bell had a good start that time. Oh.
This just might be the first time in this race that William Byron doesn't lead.
Still there.
Byron's going to have the momentum off the top of that race.
Still there.
The exit turn forward, he's going to keep this lead.
Clear.
These cars are very sensitive to that momentum that you have to keep, and if you can keep that center corner speed up to where it needs to be, that high lane is always going to have the run up off the corner.
2 to the 45.
Scuffle, 3 wide of the back there.
2 on the wall.
They got high off the 2, had to lift out of the gas and stack them up big time.
2.
See 2 cars that run towards the front of the racetrack. The number 12 there, Ryan Blaney, had some trouble on a pit stop, and Ryan Reese right behind him ran in the top 3, top 5 at the beginning of this race, and just has not been able to make his way back up towards the front of the traffic.
Such a good day going for Josh Berry. Talked about you, the Wood brothers, so much, and then it came to a screeching halt. What exactly happened there on track?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. We had a pretty good restart there. I got a tip that lost some momentum behind Joey. And Tyler got underneath me there, and we kind of just ran out of room, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say in that moment. Obviously, just tough to get off the tee with that bump and everything. So we just kind of got together. So I don't know. Our cars are fast. We're not going anywhere. We're gonna run up front. They got it. We're gonna be in this position again. Just want to thank everybody and our motor company. Obviously, we had an amazing Jim Clark throw back here today. Everybody motor craft and clean, and we'll go get next week.
Thanks, Jamie. So Byron did not receive the lead here. He's now went for 205 laps. He's pulled out about 14 seconds on Christopher Bell, and he had one in third, Tyler Reddick. Joey Logano, all contenders in the top 5. And how about Ty Gibbs?
Christopher Bell at the start of the race, he just wasn't really that competitive. Now it's like make adjustments and hey, contention for a great finish.
What you have to do here, just keep yourself in the game. You do not know what the cautions are going to fall. They did a great job taking the wave around. Actually went a lap down, took the wave around, got themselves back up front when the caution fell their way, and got not left.
Alex Bowman 7, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Eric Jones in the top 10.
And out the back, the 20 fell off big last run.
A couple of guys also that these guys are both really good. Them and their teams that grinding out races. Even when something happens during the day, we've seen Alex Bowman have that happen a few times today. Chris Buescher and his team, they're just so good at finding their way towards the front.
Kind of a quiet day for Chase Elliott so far. It's his teammate, William Byron, has led every lap. Eric Jones right with him. They had that move of taking on tires before the end of the stage and just rolling around the last 2 laps slowly so they wouldn't have to stop again. And that's put him up in the top dozen.
You look at the difference as soon as that happened. Caution came out 34-27.
Boom. Great strategy move.
Yeah, made a top 10. And we had the king up in the booth earlier, and he approved of the timing of that caution and when it came out and how it was going to work for that 43 car. You talk about the Wood brothers, and you look at this Richard Petty throwback scheme here. We've covered it pretty well, but man, there's just not many schemes that stick out like that 43 old SDP scheme.
Let's have a look at today's big move, sponsored by Pods. And it was after this restart where it looked like Christopher Bell just might get the better of William Byron. But he had the top lane and big momentum coming up off the corner, and Byron continued. He's leading every lap so far at Darlington. That's your Pods big move.
Mike, I want to go back to the last pit stop, which lap 189 for William Byron. And what he said as he came onto pit road, he told crew chief Rudy Fugle that was the first time all day it really took a big swing to the loose side on him. And you can hear a little bit of concern in his voice. Of course, that was a long run right there. He also commented on the fact that he felt like it was the clouds that caused that. Well, as I look up in the sky right now, it's very overcast currently. And it does look like there's some other clouds out there. So something to keep an eye on as we get further and further into this run, and he continues to get a little pressure from the 20 of Christopher Bell.
Scattered big clouds over Darlington County this Sunday afternoon. Very hot day. Here's the Hot Wheels Pizza on board for Joey Logano, sitting in 5th. Just about a second behind Tyler Reddick. To me, I think it's one of the most successful throwbacks, not just for the paint scheme, not just because it honors Cale Yarborough, who was such a hero here from nearby Timmonsville, but Joey's connection with Cale. Early in Joey's career, Cale taking him around the racetrack, telling him where the trouble spots were, giving him advice on what to do. And obviously, when somebody does that, who's a Hall of Famer and an 84 Series winner, that's got to be something you never forget.
No, not at all. I was fortunate to be around Cale when we ran a throwback scheme back in 2016. And just like Joey, when you're fortunate enough to run one of those paint schemes by one of these legends that meant so much to the sport, and especially in somewhere that's so close to home with him, I mean, it's definitely, you like the helmet.
Well, I love it. Old school. Hit on. The only thing it said on is Cale. Well, it says Cale on the right side. It says Joey on the left side.
That's this one. I'm talking about old Cale. There's nothing cooler than that. Just simple, plain, got the job done. Really neat human being, Cale Yarborough.
He was, and just tough as nails. And I remember talking to Cale on that particular day, and just listening, just like when we had Richard Petty and Kyle Petty, and you listen to the Wood Brothers and all the things that they've been able to experience and talk about driving those cars around today, Clint. You just look at the interior of the cars and the things that they raced with, going 180 or 200 miles an hour. Are they all still alive?
Here's had a cigarette lighter.
How did they all not just get injured all the time in these race cars? Because those cars, I mean, it's got a ton of power and very little safety.
There is no way Pierce ever going to wreck that car.
How were your seatbelts held?
Oh my God.
How were your seatbelts held in your
I
life?
had a couple links of chain in it, about a 3/8 long chain. Wow.
Today is the most laps that William Byron has ever led in a cup race. 77 to go in Darlington.
Back, you beat you all over again. Horses 19, turn 1 minute. Green, here's your clear by the end. He's been the quickest car the last couple of years. Always through the 3. He maintains it on the wall all the way through. He gains entry at 3, then maintains. Still 8 back to 20 is starting to go the other way here.
These helmets, 1970s and 80s cars.
Good one, 2 this lap. Good one, 2, you're clear by 7.
Race used motors. 29 and a 351 clear.
Why'd you put your seatbelts on?
Why did you not put your seatbelts on?
That's for you, Jones.
Hey, they were so old. Look, we're long, we couldn't get them loose. Finally figured it out.
William Byron, your leader, 222.
What happened to Bowman?
That's back. Bowman just came around. Slowly got back to pit road. He was in 8th place when that happened.
He got whooped pretty hard, obviously hard enough to race him totally right rear. We all know. That's we all know that's all that's
$70 to go. William Byron holding on. So that's Jim Burns.
Chadburton, New Hampshire, September 2000.
New Hampshire against Silver Speedway. It's probably all 300 laps.
Yeah, and interesting that
Bob Green is better in front, better behind you. You've been better.
restrictor plates on the car back in 2000 NASCAR. Unfortunately, we'd had some accidents during that time that had taken the lives of some of the drivers, and they put restrictor plates on the car up there that day. It worked every single lap.
A couple of best friends going at it here. And racing hard for 8th place. Chase Elliott holds on to the spot. Ryan Blaney. There's 16 to go. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Rocky, that could be the difference if William Byron leads every single one of these laps, because we're closing in on green flag pit stops. Remember what happened in stage 2? Some come on early, some go try to speed it. Came out. I'm going to say probably in about 10 to 12 laps you're going to see some drivers hitting pit road, but I would say the sweet spot is somewhere around that 240 to 245.
Clear.
Sheesh, man.
And we talked about this last week during the race. The mid-pack racing to the back is always way more difficult than it is up in the front. You're always fighting for your life. And you got in the middle of the back of the car.
Kevin, let's go back to that long run that we had earlier in the race, right?
If I had to rate this race, I would give it an average. This race was just average. If you ask me, it's 5 out of 10. If you ask me, and it's not bad at all.
We need to start paying attention here. Bell, Hamlin, Reddick, remember him, Busher, those guys really came on and took care of business on that backside of the road.
Well, when you look at these laps right here, the leader ran 31:36, Bell 56, Hamlin is 60. So, I mean, the leader is William Byron has just been lights out today. Continues to be the class of the field right now. I think that the big challenge that we've seen if these runs go really long is when he gets to the back of the traffic and has a couple of cars that really challenge him, like we saw in that first stage with Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe.
Byron Chevy, the only multi in the first 8. Corey Toyota's right behind him. Bell, Hamlin, Reddick. Logano is the first Ford in the race in 5th. Busher in 6th. And Blaney in 8th in the blue ovals. There's Joey's Mustang, only 11 days away from the 61st birthday of the Ford Mustang, April 17, 1964. That big celebration last year for the 60th and a big commemorative model 60th anniversary Mustang in showrooms.
And you see right there, the McDonald's car of Tyler Reddick just right up against the fence. And that, at this point of the race, when you're fatigued and it's a warmer day than you've had to deal with, as we see Ryan
Stop.
So
Just starting doing green flag stops right now.
I came around the perfect time, 62 to go.
Yeah.
So
Byron.
Has happened.
Okay, so William Byron, I'm just going to start off straight away. William Byron has read every single lap of this race. I'm not
being dead ass.
I'm being for real. He led every single lap so far.
I think I didn't watch.
there were a few incidents happen, like Kyle Larson, he like spun out and hit the wall right when we took green for the start of the race, and then Carson Homesmore had a couple of incidents. He's spinning out, him having a flat tire, and then he and Riley Herbst got together. Keselowski spun out. He had a loose wheel. His wheel didn't completely come off, and then Tyler Reddick and Josh Berry made contact, and Josh Berry spun her out, and his day's done. So that's all the major incidents I know, but I know that happened. And like I said, Byron swept the stages, dominating like every single lap.
Jesus Christ. There's no way.
The NASCAR had commissioners before, beginning with Kevin Baker, but that position is now called the final appeals officer. This is the first time.
I'm so sick.
What's that?
A 24 NFL post list that I'm pulling it. There's no way he led every single lap on.
Well, he is leading it. He is leading every single lap. That could change with green flag pit stops still happen if there's no caution.
So this strategy is going to get scattered here. But like Larry said, that is a long ways to go.
Two pulling off the wall. One pulling off the wall behind you.
John underneath a check.
So 1.5.
For his green flag stop. And Shane Van Gisbergen was in as well. Not much activity among the leaders just yet. Just like we saw in that first run, one of those ones that I left off that list was Ryan Blaney. Him, Busher, those guys drove to the front, ran those, Byron even did. Reddick, his teammate Wallace, those guys were really, really good in the last, 10, 12, 15 laps of that run.
Yeah, we'll see what the lap time is. As Ryan Blaney comes by this time, he had to make a pass. So the next lap will be a true judge of what that lap time is. But we were seeing 2-3 tenths of a second faster, just like we did earlier in the race when we had those Super Bowl runs.
So when William Byron got in traffic and they couldn't get around those the lap cars, they caught him 8 tenths. It was a second one lap. That's what you can't afford.
McDonald comes down pit road now.
You better do something different than to Kevin's point earlier, they've got such a lead on the competition here. They can kind of sit back a little bit and watch what these guys are doing. Have an educated decision here. Brigham.
Like you see, driving good on the right side of the street on the mid road right now. Starts the runs too tight in turns 1 and 2. They've been working on that for a couple runs now, but just like many of the cars out there, it just swings 2-3 per hit. If you can get down here about early 4 tires.
That was so good, Bob.
These cars
just absolutely slow
down and just run the pace that right rear tire the car just feels like that the right rear tire just has no tread left on it, and it just immediately flips like a switch. And
well, if you don't, you'll be in the wall.
That's right.
You have to slow down, keep the car underneath them. You race the racetrack. Shane Smith on pit road. He's had a good run today. Front row.
2.5 with tires, multiple down, 7 out.
First of our top 5 cars to come in. Jamie?
Well, Hamlin's caught up to Christopher. So.
1.5 with tires. Feel like both of them.
We'll go with it. I think that's Busher coming off pit road right now. That's one of your hitters. That's the top 5 car. Now we're starting to see the conversation of who can put some pressure on the 24 car and what they'll do about it. Riley Herbst in and out. Noah Gregson is in. Busher. Position for 4 tires and fuel. Ross Chastain joins him on pit road.
Clear. All there.
And I don't think that even Busher with where he was. I mean, he was somewhere around 8 seconds behind. That still doesn't put a lot of real pressure on William Byron. I think that.
Well, that's just his radar, right? That's who was on his radar.
That Bell's
And
not on
that's
pit
even
road.
for the other car is that 20 car Christopher Bell on pit road now.
Well, good to go here. How's your lap time?
They told me they were tight and slow on Saturday. They made a little touches. You see another chassis adjustment there. They've been doing that all day long.
Balance, co-painter, the whole run.
AJ Oldenegger, Ricky Stenhouse, and Eric Jones all on pit road.
Yeah, simple.
Sign is out for Chase Elliott.
Ooh.
All scheduled green flag pit stops. The first 15 cars have yet to pit. 50 laps to go.
One back 45 with tires. Gonna be inside here.
Here we go.
Byron's not on pit road.
47.3 back on the
William
bottom
Byron
of the
comes
tires.
in, brings it to the attention of our news. Henry Motorsports crew, the Byron Fugle.
You are the leader here.
Cody Ware, just ahead of him coming down pit lane.
3 back 22 with tires.
Just like Clayton and Kevin were talking about up there in the booth, Cody Fugle was coaching his driver about the gap that they had and the thing when they wanted to pit. They had a couple laps to spare, but his car did just like it did the previous run, got to a certain point and it was extremely loose. And he came on the radio and was very vocal about how loose it was getting each of those laps.
Cedric Gillen, Ty Dillon are in Keselowski's pit lane.
All right, Denny's leading right now.
Kenny Hamlin is the new leader for Ryan Blaney. Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, Briscoe,
5 back 12.
And you see right there, Christopher Bell has gone by William Byron. So they waited
2
just
back
a
on the
little bit
bottom
too
of
long
12.
and actually have lost this, what would be the lead right
2
there.
back 20.
Christopher Bell.
We're coming this time.
So now we're going to see what William Byron has. He's going to at some point have to go by Christopher Bell to get this lead back.
If you get down inside 17,
Bell's got the 242, Byron at 244. So 2 laps more. Those fresh tires gave Christopher Bell an advantage. Okay, here comes Hamlin and Blaney both. So the 2 leaders, Hamlin and Blaney,
second gear.
that means Suarez, Wallace,
2 red.
and
Now 2
Haley, the
red.
cars that have not pitted. Kyle Busch gets his
1
service
red.
done. He's gone.
Now 1 red. All green. Now all green. 2 to the rear. 2 to the rear bias. All green.
Ladies finishing up for tire change for Wallace.
And away. Now 5.
That'll leave just Suarez and Haley on the racetrack. Regan.
Like Denny Hamlin hits pit road for his final pit stop. Was actually very pleased with the car the entire run. Didn't want any changes and no complaints on it.
All out. Second green. Green. And red. PK. Hard to go. Why did you go? Hard to go. Why did you go?
Into his stall. Hopefully for the final
3
time
back on the wall. You'll be clear when you get
left
there.
side.
Yeah, and as we see Tyler Reddick right here, he's actually going to be the guy that's going to be in front of both Christopher Bell and the 24 car of William Byron. So this is all about the timing of when they come to pit road and how many laps that you and time that you lose on the racetrack. So these guys have put William Byron in a position that he hasn't been in all day, and that's to run in traffic and have to get by both of these cars for the lead.
So Tyler Reddick, the leader, was 4 seconds behind Byron before pit stops in 4th place. Now he's out front.
Larry, had to have been a slower stop for the 24 car. He gave up a lot of track position and only gave up 2 laps. He had a lot to be able to ride in his back pocket for insurance. But you see the 20 car ahead of him.
Wait, is that Seth Golden's 2015 print?
Yes, it is. Would it be something if Byron led almost all the race and he still doesn't win?
Stupid thing I have seen. You know what? I
What?
think that's gonna happen. I mean, we did Paulson with like 5 to go.
I mean, I won't be
And then
surprised,
he's just
but
gonna do the lead.
the trends have literally proved it. Kyle Larson dominated the Southern 500 back in October, and he didn't even win. Like, it's known to happen at this point.
Special Jet Engine. Go to T-Mobile.com. See how families can save 20% and $800. That's right.
What's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Liberty Mutual is all she talks about since we saved hundreds by bundling our home and auto insurance.
It's pronounced Liberty. Liberty. Nice try, kid. Only pay for what you need.
The games are pumping.
Dad, is Mommy financed?
I'm gonna turn on my face cam for the final laps.
If I turn on my face, I'm just laying in bed.
See if I can make some.
If you want to be slow here, stop. Still there with the 9, still up there. Door, full. Door, proper, clear.
Get it together, Stan.
Clear. 15 better than a 60.
So far, Tyler Reddick is the current race leader.
Proper, clear. And use this as a grid check. Working 9 drinks. 9 minutes.
William Byron is third. Byron stopped 4 laps later than Reddick. He had a substantial lead, but when the pit cycle was complete, Byron finds himself in third place right now. After leading 243 laps from the drop of the green flag.
Well, the king of the day has been track position, and they knew that, just like what Larry said, you've got to do something different than that 24, and they were able to have the 24 stay
It
out
would be
on the
amazing
racetrack.
if Reddick can win.
Cycle lost
Yeah.
time to be able to give themselves a lead, and now William Byron, and we've seen him struggle in the lap traffic as he's gone through the day, as he's caught the back of the pack. That's the racing traffic now, and that's not something that he's done all day. So he has really no idea of how his car handles or what needs to happen. But I think, as Clint said, the later part of this run is really what we're going to see. This will probably all take place when we've seen the 20 car fall off more than a 24. But who knows? What does a 24 car do in traffic?
Well, then obviously 53 laps is a tall order for Reddick leading that race. What he does have is clean air all the way through in his track position.
Especially after what happened last year.
Stay out there. The
Yeah.
other thing he has is a massive
Good redemption, man.
Larry, we started with 10 sets of tires plus
It seems like they're putting all the effort into that 17.
tires. We do, Mike. It looks like about everybody up front still should, at minimum, have 2 more sets of sticker tires left.
The way that they were using them all up at the beginning of the race, I was worried that we were going to make it to the end. But I was worried
What happened to Bowman?
fire tires on those cars.
I think he might have broke a toe link or something.
This race is 100 miles shorter than the Southern 500. So that definitely makes the math a little easier to add up to.
Speaking of math, Larry, the
friends to us. Yeah, Mike, we normally, since we've been running this Gen 7 car here in Darlington, which is 6 races the last 3 years, we normally don't get that late race caution. Right now, the trends show in those 6 races, about 26 or 27 laps ago, we're about there, but we did 2 years ago when William Byron won the race. May of 23, we did have an overtime finish in that race.
That one was messy. I was wrecked, and I think I finished second or third. So that's how fast things can change, and we've seen
Byron about to pass Christopher Bell here.
We see William Byron.
Look at him get loose underneath Bell. That's what we're talking about. You have to be careful trying to get this pass made and conserve that tire. You're going to need it as you run it down to eventually, not eventually, the leader, Tyler Reddick.
Just keep in mind, Ryan Blaney has turned to wake up. That's a long run car. We've seen every run today. And Blaney back there at 7, I don't think he'll be back there very long. Here's the battle for second place. William Byron trying to get back to the front. Hasn't had to pass a competitive car today. He's had the lap cars, but...
Well, and you see right there, that's Tyler.
I do, though. Teammates actually doing something for
As
one.
much happen as possible for that 24 car to get as far behind as possible. And, the 23 of Bubba Wallace.
Tell you what.
In front of that car
Well, I could tell, especially when Byron was catching the lap cars. Like, his car is just not really good in clean, in dirty air.
Chasing Denny Hamel. This is the battle for sixth place.
These are the too sensitive, dude. They're almost like IMSA and these holes.
I said this earlier. I said that what if we run the option tires here?
Oh, yes. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I want to see.
Turned the right front into it, then slapped the right rear again 2 or 3 times, but obviously didn't slow that baby down. I think the rocket ship.
Saul had a little bit of trouble on pit road there with the jack, couldn't get the jack under, and that's really how they got far behind. So if it wasn't for that little miscue on pit road, I think that they would have been right up in the mix up towards the front.
Still, believe it or not, chasing his first top 5 at this place.
Very bottom. You get out.
Blaney moves to sixth place. Tyler Reddick, who's led more laps in Darlington than any other track, has the lead with 28 to go as we go 5 side by side.
We go there.
Hope he holds it off.
Good behind. Clear off there.
Denny's inside.
Is your name comes up here? Working 20 green, 2-0 green this time, 35 6A model. All clear. Clear. Five to go. Over 3 seconds off the leader here. Keep working.
Tyler Reddick leading Christopher Bell by 5 seconds now. Byron in third. Battle for Blaney fifth. Blaney has advanced to fifth place, as we talked about. Great long run speed on that number 12. And if his trend over the last 5 laps continues, he may catch Tyler Reddick before this is over.
Well, it's all going to be in how bad does Tyler Reddick's car take, and he's not being able to make any ground in traffic right now. That's what we saw happen.
Looks like Blaney might, we might get a.
I don't think it's tire fall off that I'm concerned about with Reddick as much as these lap cars.
Well, look at what's happening right here.
Challenge.
Joey Logano was in for tires at lap 238, well before Blaney and Hamlin, and he's going to fall to both of them. This is going to be a matter of who got tires last, who has the best tires, and for how long.
And a lot of it's going to come down to, can you get through traffic? That's what it's going to come down to Tyler Reddick.
Traffic. 100%. I think it's traffic more than anything.
Blaney and Hamlin have 7 lap fresher tires than Reddick.
Very amazing too. If then he gets back to back top 5s, I'm not sure if he got a top 5. What was the race? What was the race before months ago? I don't remember.
Series racing at Bristol Motor Speedway, pre-race 1:30 Eastern, green flag at 3, right here on FS1.
What wasn't it Las Vegas before Martinsville?
I'm not sure. I have to look. I don't remember.
Brad Keselowski, who's 2 laps down, so he's definitely stuck in a spot where traffic is affecting everything that he does. Jamie.
Tyler Reddick now has led 26 laps. He just came on the radio and asked his team what's my gap. They said you're doing great. Lap time so good. You got about a 5-second lead over.
Oh, it was Homestead. It was Homestead.
Oh, Homestead. Oh, yeah.
I think he did get a top 5 at Homestead. Yeah. It would be 3 top 5s in a row. Good deal.
It's just a matter of does he have enough time and can he get through the cars ahead of him?
Reddick is stuck. He's going to run the pace that Brad Keselowski is running. So the thing that he's looking for right now is that Brad doesn't catch a car that's slower than him and gets stuck behind him.
Well, he's stuck, and then you go back and Bell is stuck underneath trying to get around Stenhouse with Byron coming up on him. They're kind of stuck. You just heard Mike tell you how fast Blaney is. He doesn't have anybody in front of him. He's got a lot of clean air in the nose of that car. I think he'll have a little bit more trouble, and speed will probably slow down as he approaches him as well. It's going to come down with 18 laps ago. I'm thinking this window is about 10 laps ago is when these cars are really going to start. The handling differentials coming, and the lap times will come after that.
The big thing that Ryan Blaney has had is he's been able to dive that car down to the bottom of the racetrack and be able to finish passes. And you see right now, Reddick he's got that high entry in 1. That's a little bit different than Brad. But his line is against the wall. He can't really run anywhere else and make up time. The biggest problem he has right now are those cars in front of Brad Keselowski because they're at a slower pace. Brad has caught these guys, so now it's going to jam him up even slower.
Blaney has made up 11 of the 17 seconds he was behind Reddick at the conclusion of his pit stop.
Look how much better it rolls the center of that corner than William Byron in front of him. Williams in trouble, tight in the center. Blaney's not. Roll in the middle, well, car's free.
Blaney might actually get to Reddick. Oh my gosh.
Have a bobble right there, and he was able to make that pass really quick, and he's going to make
Look at how in the center of the corner, Blaney just has so much speed.
Key point to this. When you catch him, get by there, use the momentum, do not stall.
Look, he's way better in entry. He's just.
He can still win this race.
Look at that number. Keeps getting smaller between Blaney and the race leader.
He passed both of those cars in 1 lap. That's hard to do. Didn't slow him down a bit either.
Ryan Blaney looking for his first top 5 finish at Darlington. He's led a lot of lap series, had a fast car here. Maybe today is the day.
And let me say one more. That was the fastest car in the long runs.
That's the fastest time on highways in the Wyoming.
Tyler Reddick might be in trouble.
Keselowski got out of the way of Tyler Reddick, so that's going to give him some cleaner air to go up and chase down Shane Van Gisbergen right in front of him. So another second. That'll be the next car, the next lap car that he comes and approaches. So Brad did him a favor right there, got out of the way.
But that last lap, Reddick was 3/4 of a second slower than Blaney.
I'd say there was some communication going on. Get some help with this 6. Race is on, 14 to go.
Yeah, and it's going to be
another second. We're inside of 4 seconds now.
And this is exactly what we talked about. Pitting early. You got the car that's been one of the best cars on the long run all day, and the only car that's been able to maneuver in traffic really well has been Ryan Blaney. So that's been the benefit that he has had all day.
Oh, why didn't they do those things so bad with the AE8 with SVT? I wonder about that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of amazed that they didn't.
He's on his feet now. He's sitting down anymore.
Well, right now, he lost another 0.6 of a second on that last lap. So Blaney is just so much better at being able to get through traffic with the way that his car is handling it. This move right here, when he's able to dive down to the bottom of the racetrack and finish these passes, ride that seam all the way around the corner, he's able to just make quick work of those lap cars.
Ryan Blaney with a paint scheme honoring his dad's one Busch Grand National Series win. Trying to get it to victory lane. Tyler Reddick trying to hold on and capture this win for Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin and company.
Inside of 3 seconds. He's going to need some help with these 3 cars. Getting it put away as fast as he possibly can.
Yeah, and right now, Tyler Reddick is just...
That's what you don't want to see is 2 cars in front of you side by side. They got it sorted out for them in the corner.
Tyler Reddick, his main goal right now is not to make the half-a-second mistake.
That's a big costly... That crease didn't get out of his way. Cost him a lot of time right there, Blaney.
I'm not sure that'll be a logjam. I think it's going to be Blaney trying to get by Reddick's teammate there, Bubba Wallace.
Great point there, too. That one won't be easy to pass.
10 to go.
I think Blaney's car is so much faster.
He's let that Mustang run now. We're coming off of turn 4.
9 to go.
The win, baby. Look at him driving that thing loose into the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't make big mistakes.
I'm going to install these things so we don't have the time.
Get that car hung up.
Oh, Reddick.
He got away with that one. It didn't grab the right front tire.
I think Michael Jordan heard it on the radio. I'd say there's communication he saw right there. It was frustrating. Now, look at now we're in striking distance.
Yeah, he's caught. Tyler Reddick has caught.
Well, we PO last one.
Who knows? Oh, and look who's in third. Oh, my goodness.
But now it's on. There they are. First and second.
There's time, too. Coming to 7 to go.
Clear.
Blaney's had the best long-run speed today. Reddick is second in that department, and Reddick has been the best defender today, statistics show. 7 to go, 1.6 seconds, the gap.
Catching much that last lap right there. Reddick put together a good lap. He got in the wall that lap before. Got behind him. Drive your race. Drive this racetrack. Well, don't worry about that car behind you. It was the most out of every lap you can with what you have.
It was better, Clint, but he still lost a half a second. And this one, he's going to lose. Oh, man. He lost 0.8 of a second that lap here. Yeah, he's there, and he's going to go right by when he gets there, I have a feeling.
You're going to have to set him up, though. It's a timing thing. Make sure you catch him where you need to.
Oh, Blaney's closing in. Oh, he's going to pass him. Look at how close he's... Look at how close.
He made all the passes in 3 and 4. Slipped a little bit, didn't he?
It was almost to the apron. How low can you go?
Ready getting a wall there?
It looked like he touched the wall again off the turn 4.
5 to go.
Another big showcase here, folks. 5 to go.
And now you're
Blaney can... Oh.
You're in big trouble. Slipping, sliding around a lot. Got loose.
Reddick covers the bottom.
As
was a good block. That's that timing thing. Caught him in a position over there the two that he couldn't do anything with.
Yeah, Blaney can just roll the bottom so much better.
Blaney to the bottom.
Oh yeah, he's always in.
Get off the top, but Blaney is
4 to go.
Can't complete that corner off the forehead.
Oh, Lawson's allowed it in. Oh, that wall bet.
Oh, look at that. Blaney to the lead. Oh, contact. Blaney to the lead. Oh, Larson around. Caution. We're going to overtime. Oh.
That was highly far for Larson. Deja vu. 4 to go. All over again. Not being good for him. Oh my gosh. Reddick got the wall right in front of him.
How Lawson's the match with Sapton of NASCAR?
Same car, same corner.
Oh my goodness.
And now it comes down to just an absolute shootout on these restarts. And now it comes down.
Here's Tyler Reddick.
I think I killed it. Sorry, guys. What are you talking about, man? We got a lot of pipe over here. Great white checker coming out. Man, I'm sorry for the I smoked the wall in search.
Bubba dumped him.
Let's see what happened.
Dude, it looks like Bubba
Reddick
dumped.
pounded.
C5 checked up.
I'm being dead serious.
My goodness.
Larry, I'd say I need tires to win this race. You could even call this, make this call. We have 4 tires. Hey. But I tell you, this is the pressure. This is why these guys make the big bucks in these pit crews.
Kyle Larson's taking his car to the garage. End of his day.
Don't count out that number 1 pit stall with this 24 car as well. He has to move 21 feet to win the battle on pit road. That's the advantage right there.
Well, they'll be coming in from
Oh my goodness.
behind Blaney, Reddick, and Hamlin, and suddenly it's a whole new race, and it's going to be green-white checker.
And there has been absolutely no flow to this race. We've had long runs, we've had short runs, we've had tires thrown at the cars. Now we're going to have an overtime finish to decide this race that has been absolutely dominated by William Byron. Ryan Blaney by far had the best car on the long run right here at the end.
Could you imagine being Ryan Blaney? Just put on the absolute drive of your life to take the lead, and 2 seconds, 2/10 of a second later, the caution comes out.
Well, Blaney's crew is going to have to step it up. Statistically, today, they rank 35th in what they've done today. 17 total spots lost on pit road. So now is the time.
That's not very ideal.
Well, I think a lot of those spots came on the one stop where they couldn't get the jack under the car, but still that's happened today. And now there's a lot of pressure on every one of these pit crews on pit road. So this is what it's going to come down to: the pit road and a restart.
24 car needs to narrow this up as much as possible to catch those guys. They have a couple cars in between him. He is in a catbird seat with that number 1 stall.
We still have 20 cars on the lead lap. We're also in the free pass. Let's see how many of those 20 come to pit road right now. Jamie?
Ryan Blaney, one of them. Remember, this team hasn't finished in the top 10 in 5 consecutive races. He has a shot to win this one day. They just told him, bring it down. We need to put 4 tires on. Get that crew, get their focus right. They had that bad pit stop 2 stops ago. 4 tires here. Tyler Reddick comes to a stop in his box as well. 4 tires. We'll just take a quick look at that right side, make sure everything looks good. It sounds like it is. And we'll go up to Regan.
Denny Hamlin in the 11 car on the radio as soon as the caution came out said, free me up some. Chris Gale asked him, what do you need for a short run? And that is exactly what he wanted. That and another quick pit stop.
All 20 lead lap cars came to pit road. Denny
Got it.
That crew, they were on it. Just covered that 100 laps ago.
Reddick, Byron, Blaney, and Bell.
Oh
Top
my.
5 race on pit road.
Not even close.
Wow.
Larry, this changes everything.
Yes, it does. That 11 pit crew, 9.42. The fastest of all the top 5 or 6 on that pit stop. Wow.
Man, if we win this race, oh my.
Slinging that jack. Hey, crew
in the pudding. It was on display. We covered it, and boom, that's exactly what just won the race off pit road. Heartbreak for this Ryan Blaney. Finally, I cannot believe what just transpired.
Oh, it's not over yet. No. It's definitely not over yet. These restarts can be wild, and it just takes one little slip off of turn 2 to wreck a whole bunch of cars.
Talk about throwback. If Chris Economaki was here, he would call turn 2 Calamity Corner today.
And I would agree. I mean, it's a narrow corner. It's like a funnel. It shoves you down in there, and the next thing you know, you pop out of the hole and up against the fence. And if you're too wide, it is so difficult to run through there too wide.
Well, in case you missed it, show you what's happened here today. The first caution flag was at lap number 4. Kyle Larson getting out of shape and into the inside wall. They made a lot of repairs to that car, and he came back out and just caused the last caution of the day. Car went for a spin, then Brad Keselowski.
Oh no! That's probably the best slow bet I've seen. Damn.
Josh Berry, after a contact, spinning into the inside wall, and the Wood Brothers day was done. William Byron won both the first 2 stages and led the first 243 laps. And then Ryan Blaney takes the lead from Tyler Reddick, and there goes Larson again into the inside wall in just the same place. And going to overtime, here's the race-off pit road, won by Denny.
I'm telling you, I should die.
Then William Byron, then Ryan Blaney with Christopher Bell. They are the players as we go to overtime.
Here we go.
Well, it's all going to come down to the launch right here on the restart and who can get themselves fired off to get into turn 1.
Well, that advantage is going to go to the pole. So your leader right there, Denny Hamlin's going to take the
All right.
effectively end the race. 400 miles of racing, and it all comes down to these last 2 laps. Everybody here is on their feet. Even Harvick needs to be standing on the chair so he gets a good view over his dad's shoulder. I'm nervous. We're all nervous.
Let's get it done.
Hamlin outside of Reddick. Byron outside of Blaney. Here we go. Green, white checker.
Here we go.
400.
You're already clear.
You see a great restart by Denny Hamlin in that outside lane.
All right, we're clear.
Byron can get clear of Reddick off the 2. Maybe he can get the pressure on him. Still there.
Bell trying to get it wide.
Now.
Byron, come on, get to the white. Way out. Just bring it home. Just bring it home. Just bring it home. There. Oh my. Did that really just happen? Let's go. Yes. I don't know how that just. Back-to-back weekends with a win. Unbelievable. That is awesome.
You did it again. You did it again. Great fucking job.
Well, they got him off pit road first. And on the
We
restart,
got it done.
Denny drives away.
Well, he just executed that restart so well and was able to get the launch and keep those guys
Let's
from
go.
being able to get that side draft and keep him pulled back. He was able to clear both of those guys, and then second, third, and fourth just started racing, and he just drove off.
We go to Bristol, though. We go to Bristol next week, and you remember who won there last year? That man, Denny Hamlin.
Great racetrack.
I'm telling it. Nate Hamlin's winning next week too.
Got it. Yes, sir.
And he is now 11th on the all-time win list, breaking the tie with Rusty Wallace.
56 career
Time in
wins.
his career, and the first time in 13 years he wins back-to-back weekends.
Heartbreaker for Ryan Blaney. Unbelievable drive out of that kid. Finally got a top 5. Hard to believe, but he could care less about that.
So
This was all his.
who's doing a backflip?
Got it done.
Carl was going to go down there and help him, wasn't he?
I think Carl's still here. I want to see him do the backflip.
Yeah, this paint job on Hamlin's car is a throwback to Carl Edwards' 499 Office Depot car back in the day. And a heartbreaker for William Byron, who had nothing but clean air in front of his windshield most of the day, and by far led the most laps, 243 of them.
These tires right here on the back of this car won't make it as far as they did in Martinsville, I'd say. But he's going to get to track.
Burn down the front straightaway.
Yes.
Blaney did edge Chris Buescher for 6th. At the line, Chastain Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Busch, top 10. Here is the final restart.
Yeah, did you see Denny Hamlin roll into the restart zone right here? He just gets a great launch. 45 just doesn't get going as good. And once he was able to break that side draft and left those guys behind him side by side, and they never really cleared each other. So that just allowed Denny to drive away.
Yeah, stalls them out. He drops off into the sunset. Back to victory lane, back to back.
It's Hamlin's 5th Darlington win. Tyler Reddick ends up 4th, 1.2 seconds back.
Wait, I'll get your line. Forget your legs. Great work, man.
A strong day, not the one they wanted.
No, not at all.
Joe Gibbs Racing, 219th win for that organization. 11 drivers. Their 5th win this year.
Got it.
11th win
Woo!
for Coach. As he debriefs with Christopher Bell, the 3rd place finisher.
Well, think about this. At the beginning of the race, we were talking about a rough day for Joe Gibbs Racing. You look at the end of the day, we've got
I did not expect
Denny
this.
Hamlin winning,
Oh
Christopher
my
Bell
gosh.
3rd, and Ty Gibbs 9th.
Good day. Ryan Blaney shares a laugh with Michael Jordan. What a finish.
I don't hear any boos.
10 laps.
No, I heard like 20. I heard like half the people do boo.
Maybe it's just from maybe it's just the phone. Maybe it's just from my phone, but
Career victory, breaking a tie for 11th, or breaking a tie for 11th with Rusty Wallace, Denny. But I got to ask you about that final pit stop. A week ago, you dominated the race. This week, your pit crew gets you out first. Was there ever a doubt in your mind after they did that you were going to win this?
I mean, there's two people I really love right now, my pit crew and Kyle Larson. So, had a little assist there, so thank you. But, man, the pit crew just did an amazing job. They won it last week. They won it this week. It's all about them. Thanks, Sport Clips. They have such a big deal here in Darlington, South Carolina. Shout out to Gordon and the whole team. We'll see you on Victory Lane.
This is Carl Edwards throwback. Any backflip for you today?
I'll pass. If Carl's here, he's more than welcome to jump off the car.
Denny Hamlin wins in Darlington. Jamie?
Well, Ryan Blaney brings it home good there. Ryan,
oh my goodness.
Finally get the lead, and the caution comes out. What goes through your mind?
Man,
Oh, no. Yeah, I thought we had the race won, and yeah, so I don't really know. I have to watch the replay how that yellow came out and watch it back. But we did a good job. Great strategy call of kind of running long and giving us time to get down, run down. The 45. A lot of those guys short pitted.
So it's great
Wow.
call and great car. I mean, great Dutch boy, Menards, Ford Mustang, just really fast and never really got to control the race. Like, I feel like nothing ever really
Well, my favorite driver gets back-to-back wins, man. Oh my goodness. This was something in this race, earlier, if you would say stage one, wow. Came back. Luck, that was luck. Luck and pit crew just went in our favor. Like,
thank fucking God Hamlin won. At least I got one of my somewhat favorite salivas win for once. Thank you.
and I will be getting a new Denny Hamlin shirt. I will get it in the next, I don't know, next week or so. So, man, great timing. Man, great win. It just seems like every year when I do these live race reactions, Denny just ends up winning at least one of them. So,
yeah, I got it. He's gonna win Bristol.
Hopefully, man. Let's just wait and see what happens. Anyways, man, I didn't expect this, but man, I'm pumped up ticket. So, anyways, this is Preston and
It's 49
signing out. Let's go.